Welcome to Firebreathing Kittens, a standalone Dungeons & Dragons podcast. Each episode is a separate, complete adventure, so you can listen to them in any order. Today is the only exception, the annual season finale, last adventure in season 2020. Therefore, skip this one if it's your first episode in the season. Anywhoozleby, joining us today are Amiri.
Hi, I'm Amiri. I am a Celestial Warlock, Wood Elf. We are level 20. I wear a green light hooded scarf that covers up to cat ears atop my head.
A monist.
Hi, I'm a monist. I'm a level 20 fighter with twin curved swords strapped to my back that glow with elemental energy and leather crisscrossing straps of armor across my otherwise bare chest.
Crud Jr.
Hello, I am a wizard, all in black, and the only thing you can see are my glowing red eyes.
And Elowen.
Hello, I'm Elowen. I am a Smoke Genasi Twilight Hunter Ranger. My skin is a mottled gray with freckles all across my cheeks, and my hair looks like smoke and changes with my mood, and sometimes my eyes flash a little red.
You are all in the Fire-Breathing Kittens Guild Hall. The guild is a large building with a bar, a sitting area with wooden tables and chairs, and a wall with a corkboard and job flyers posted. There is also a small stage. Having just returned from a level 20 adventure, each of you have 200,000 gold more than you did before, which you can add to your character sheets now. You're welcome. Happy season finale.
Oh God, what am I going to do with all that? Who to give it to?
Who do we give it to?
Tonight is an open mic night poetry slam. You all sit in chairs near the stage to listen. Up on the stage, the next poet prepares to perform. She stands at the magical microphone and says, "There once was a man who liked cheese. He said, 'See the lovely trapeze.' It was rather fun, but not very well done, and he ended up drowning in fees."
Elowen is giggling.
The crowd applauds politely. The poet bows and walks off the stage. Would you all like a turn at the open mic?
Crud Jr. steps up there, clears his throat, and recites, "'Twas a crazy old elf named Elif, who caused the farmers much grief. To the cows he would run, cut their legs off for fun, and say, 'Look, I've invented ground beef.'"
Ground beef.
Oh my God.
And he resumes his seat.
Would anyone else like a chance at the open mic?
Is there something that we're competing for here?
You can't follow that, can you?
Glory.
Elowen kind of raises her hand and hops up, and she says, "Once I was running, forested in twilight, the stars grinned at me." Ooh, that might have been too many syllables. And she's like, "It's a haiku!"
The crowd applauds. And then if you guys say pass, we'll move on. You don't have to perform. I just thought I'd give you the opportunity.
I didn't prepare anything.
Me neither.
So I'm gonna pass.
Yeah, me. I had an idea behind one, but I didn't actually write it out.
Okay, well then, Elowen returns to her seat, and Crud Jr. as well. Now, another poet steps on stage.
"Come one, come all, and gather round, for you shall surely hear mean tidings of death, and eternal doom for all I fear. The time has come, for now is near, the hour of the wolf and the end of tear. Struggling against chains and with a beastly growl, Loki's son Fenwar plots a deed most foul. And should he ever break free, as we all know he must, the shining beacon of Asgard will soon be turned to dust. His retribution swift, and with the setting sun, he will seek out all those who would see him undone. A copse of trees beheld where the god Tyr once trod, with a fog of silence all around, and apples red as blood. There, in Asgard's grove they stand, silent as a grave. The wolf stares down the man he knew, revenge's flesh to crave. And so the end draws in, the young as well as old, an axe swift as hell herself serves that which is best served cold. And as the sun fades away, retreats into the night, the wolf god Fenwar leaves behind him a blood-drenched wretched sight. The world shakes all around him, for he hath set the clock. The doom will come for god and man, the time of Ragnarok.
I see where we're going with this.
All right, could you all hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
So Amiri's gonna reach into her cloak and pull out the Eye of True Sight.
You look at him through your eye of true seeing, the lens of truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as he walks off the stage, he looks exactly the same because this is not Loki.
Huh.
Also, keep in mind with the Eye of Truth, you do still have to roll. It's just, I think, a +10 to those rolls.
Okay, do a roll.
All right.
Just for the future. It's not an automatic.
Perception.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that is let's see, +15 or +18, 33.
With a 33, this poet is not Loki.
Elowen kind of steps off to the side and is like, Tyr, are you okay, buddy? Like, praying kind of, based off her, she's not very religious, but she, went to Asgard a little bit ago. So she's like, I think this is how this works. Hello? Are you all okay?
What a time not to have Moxie.
Yeah. Go ahead and do a religion check with advantage.
So that was 15 plus 14 and 14 and 3. So I'll take the 14.
All right. With a 14, you are able to feel through your bond of prayer a warm blessing from your god. Tyr seems fine.
Okay. Hey, y'all, Tyr's alive. He's good. He's good. So not like total prophecies, stuff that's happened, but might happen in future. What do you think?
I'm going over to talk to him. So Amiri's got a history with Loki.
Okay, go for it.
So yeah, I don't know what y'all want to do, but I'm going over.
I'm keeping a little distance, but, close enough to intervene for you if necessary.
I'm following behind as well.
All right, so I'm going to walk up to him and be like, hi, I'm Amiri. I'm with the Firebreathing Kittens. I just heard your little poem. Would you like to go talk about that somewhere?
He and you walk to the bar and you have a drink and you're in a quiet corner.
I get him water because I don't do alcohol.
All right. You're drinking water.
So you wrote a whole poem on Loki?
Yeah, and I've sent that to you guys in the chat, the words.
Got it.
Yeah, there you go. Well, my version. And then the person who read that poem is not here right now, so I don't want to attempt his voice. I cannot do a British accent, and he's going to communicate the information in his British accent that it was a dream and he had to put it to poem,
A dream. And how long ago was this dream?
Last night, Poetry Slam was today. It feels good to get those words out, don't you think? And he cheers at you with water.
No. You should actually praise Coddle over Loki. I'm just saying, much better god.
He chats with you for half an hour about gods. Roll a persuasion check and let's see if you can convert him to worship Coddle.
18 plus persuasion. Ooh, 29.
He's willing to go with you to this Church of Coddle. You got him when you said free cupcakes.
That'll get anybody.
Baked by me, of course. All right. Well, at least we could lead him away from Loki.
All right, and as you guys are chatting, Nusi walks up to Crud Jr. and hands him a package with a letter. Mail came for you earlier, she says.
Crud Jr. takes it and opens it.
It's a letter, and it's from Tyr. It was such a joy to meet you last week, Crud Jr. I'm going to do a voice. Why not? It was such a joy to meet you last week, Crud Jr. You and the other fire-breathing kittens are quite impressive for mortals. I've got a small favor to ask of you. Word is, someone is planning a jailbreak. Can you check on Fenwar for me? The attached bangles will get you there, and as a form of interplanar travel should serve as reasonable compensation for this request. I've no doubt Fenwar is still locked up safe and sound, but it wouldn't hurt to check. Please make sure Fenwar is still bound, and that no one is there right now trying to break him out of prison. Thanks for checking. Signed, Tyr, God of Justice.
I look in the box. There are the bangles actually in there?
Roll a sleight of hand check.
Oh, I need dice. Sleight of hand?
Yeah. Opening the box.
Oh, crap. Okay. Well, it's a 1.
Okay, so you open the box, and as you open it, you rip it all the way from top to bottom, and exploding into the air are all of your contents from all of your pockets and the box as you become completely discombobulated, and they start to roll along the bar floor.
I want to chase him. I want to grab him.
Okay, acrobatics check, I think. Uses dex,
Yes.
right?
So that's a dirty 20.
You're able to catch 10 bangles as they roll across the floor. Snatch, 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 snatch.
I got it, guys. So what's going on with these?
Okay, well, I tell them the contents of the letter. Can I have those back?
Yeah, sure. Here.
Okay.
Why did they give us 10 of them?
Because they were nice. Maybe they're one-time use only.
That's what I'm wondering.
I'll hand one to each of them, and I'll pocket the rest.
You might want to hand 2 of them to each of us in case they're single use only. I'm just saying.
I'll be there anyway, but if it will put your mind at ease,
We might get separated.
I will hand Amonist another one.
Thank you.
To be fair, we are going to the realm of Loki, and he likes to mess with people.
All right, here's your second one as well, and here's your second one as well.
That's why I'm kind of questioning the validity of this letter.
Crud hands the letter over to her. Here you go. You can do your magical investigation on it.
It can't hurt to go check to make sure Fenrir's, put up, because if he gets out and he destroys Asgard, what's, gonna stop him from coming here? Just, tossing that one out there.
I don't know. I'm not sure that Fenrir is justly contained.
Well, then we can fix that if we check on him.
As I know he was blamed for a lot of things, but I'm not sure it was necessarily his fault.
Or that he actually did anything yet. Wasn't he imprisoned prematurely? Tell you what, let's go. We can ask him all these questions when we get there.
Yes, and worst comes to worst, we adopt a giant wolf.
I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody know how to work these?
Just think of the prison in that he's at, and then we'll be swept over there. That's how you use them.
Oh, God, after reading Throne of Glass, I have a thing for Fenris.
Crud Jr. thinks of the prison where he's being kept at. Pop.
Do you put the bracelet on your hand when you think of that? So you're thinking and putting the bracelet on?
Yes.
The air does make a popping sound as your body disappears and the air rushes to fill the void. Crud Jr.'s gone, you guys.
Well, here goes nothing.
I do the same.
All right, bye, guys.
Pop, pop, pop. The 4 of you disappear from the bar. Silently, you appear in a hallway. Your feet stand on a stone floor. A torch burns on the stone wall. Do you walk left or right in this hallway?
Detect magic.
And Mary, first thing she does is she detects magic. You do not detect any magic within 30 feet of you.
I beg to differ. Crud Jr. is completely blinding.
You detect a bunch of magic on Crud Jr. And probably actually on Amonis and Elowen, but not in your surroundings.
Yeah.
And myself.
And yourself, but not in your surroundings.
Are we wanting to be sneaky, guys?
I mean, we're just here to make sure Fenris is, according to this letter, still here. I don't think we have to be.
Okay.
I guess perception check to know whether to go left or right?
Ooh.
Yeah, maybe do we see that one of them has more footprints going in that direction? The dust a little more unsettled?
That's a 6 for me for a perception check.
You touch the torch. It's hot.
Yeah, this D20 is not doing good for me today so far.
Put it in jail.
Fire hot, guys.
Let's see. I rolled a 13 plus 6 is 19.
Everyone else?
Perception. Rolled a 13. And plus 8, 21.
22 for Elowen.
All right, everyone who's not touching the fire can tell that indeed there are muddy footprints on the stone floor, and the direction that the shoes are pointing is to the left.
Alrighty. I guess we can go left, guys. That's where all the stuff is.
Are they footprint? Are they like wearing a shoe or bare feet? Are they like a creature's?
It's a pointed toe boot with a gap between the heel, which is like a U-shaped heel. Clearly a boot.
That sounds like a somewhat feminized male boot. Like maybe Loki's.
Elowen pulls out a bag, and it's gray, and she sticks her hand in, and she pulls out like a little fuzzy thing, and then she puts it on the floor, and out comes a boar. Okay, cool. So then this like boar like pops up, and she's like, hey bud, could you like go see what's down this hallway? And she's casting oh no, she's not casting Speak with Animals because she has her crown on now. Talking to this boy, she's like, can you just go check it out for me real fast, please?
Are you sending it left or right?
Left.
Okay. The boar goes down the hallway, and because of the torches that are periodically along the hallway, walks like 30 feet, enters a patch of shadow, and then at around 40 or 50 feet, enters a patch of light near another torch. And around 60 feet, that boar is fully illuminated under that torch, and it's gonna like wander away from you. Bye, boar.
Okay, that's fair.
Crud Jr. shouts at the boar, be careful, those torches are hot.
Well, it's not booby-trapped. Shall we?
Let's go.
All right.
To the left, march.
To the left, to the left.
Oh, you know what boars are really good at?
Smelling things.
Yeah, you walk up on the boar, and it's eating something at the corner of the wall and the floor. By the time you get there, there are 3 bioluminescent mushrooms, glowing blue light, changing the color temperature of the room from orange, from the torchlight, to blue as they glow. And in the blue light is the boar's nose as it snuffles and munches.
I think your pig's broken. That's not a truffle.
I'm gonna pick one up.
You pick up a glowing blue mushroom.
And I'm gonna cast Detect Poison and Disease.
Okay, what does that do? Go ahead and read it.
For the duration, I could sense the presence of and location of poisons, poisonous creatures, and diseases within 30 feet of me. I could also identify the kind of poison, poisonous creature, or disease.
You know that this is a blue laurel and that it is poisonous.
You might want to stop him from eating that.
I kind of bought this from like a store, and I'm not really sure what I'm doing here. I can try. And she just kind of walks towards him and is like, dude, die. You die. Trying to like communicate.
how does your crown work? Is the boar able to talk back, or does the boar just understand you?
Before you kill it, at least let's get the bacon.
That's toxic bacon now.
Yes, but it's limited by their intelligence, but at a minimum they can tell me about nearby locations and monsters. So yes, he can talk back, but it's very, limited, so up to you, DM, how limited you want that to be.
Okay, the boar's mouth sags, its jaw opens, and the saliva-covered blue mushroom parts fall to the ground as it, extends its tongue and kind of goes, bleh. And Mary.
As he's dying, I'm going to do spare the dying.
Okay.
It's okay if he dies. I can get him back.
Nothing happens at first, and then
I refuse to let people die.
1 minute passes, 2 minutes pass, 3 minutes pass.
Oh god, it nullifies magic.
4 minutes later, the boar is going to make a Constitution saving roll, and so are you, Mary.
Oh.
Because you touched it.
The boar rolled a 13.
I'm trying to see, because I think I'm actually resistant to... I thought I had something that made me resistant to poison. Whatever, I don't feel like looking for it right now.
I'll just take the damage.
So, Con?
Yep, Constitution saving roll.
5 plus 7. Ooh. Maybe I should look for it.
A 7 fails. So please take 30 poison damage, and the boar does as well.
All right.
Oh, the boar just keels over. He's dead. He's very dead.
Oh no! Foam is frothing at its mouth, and it's seizing on the ground, and then it stops seizing.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was just thinking most of these animals do not have a lot of HP.
Can I spare the dying it now?
You want to touch it again? Are you sure that's the most intelligent course of action?
It's already dead.
Elowen is just like, it's fine, Amiri, it's fine. It comes from this tricks. I can pull out more. It's cool, it's just magic. I do kind of feel bad as a ranger, though, because it's kind of my job to take care of beings, but we'll unpack that baggage later.
I'm gonna do it anyway. Let's see if I can bring it back.
Okay, it's been dead for less than a minute. And I think Spare the Dying works when it has how many hit points?
I think it brings it back to 1.
30 is, brings the boar, over negative half its hit points. So isn't that, an insta just death?
Equal. Now it's equal to their...
You touch a living creature that has 0 hit points. The creature becomes stable. The spell has no effect on undead.
It doesn't have 0 hit points, though. It has negative... how many?
What's his hit point at?
18. Negative 18. And its hit points is 11.
Oh, yeah, it's super dead.
Yeah,
It is so dead. It is so dead.
Let me ask the rules.
Yeah, I think if you take it down to its negative hit points, so if it has 11 hit points, you take it to 22, down to 20, negative 11, then that's just instant death. Instant bacon in this case.
Poison bacon.
Please don't eat that.
Please don't eat that. I'm looking on nerdsandscoundrels.com. Blah, blah, blah. So Spare the Dying is between 0 and death. This is death. So Spare the Dying does not work here.
No.
Yeah, I think it's based on your maximum number of hit points. Like when you reach your negative maximum, you die. Or I don't know. I've never actually killed my players.
Okay.
Well, we're there. Boar is dead. Let's continue on, shall we?
The monist walks on while considering his own mortality.
Aww.
So we've learned so far, fire is hot and don't eat the mushrooms. Let's go.
Good work, team.
I'm gonna, take my bag of holding and not touch the mushrooms, but kind of, pick it up with it.
All right, it's in your bag of holding now.
Let's save that for later.
Okay, there's a blue luminescent residue on all of the stuff in your bag of holding now. So please note that all of your items are now poisoned.
I got Mage Hand. What am I doing?
I was thinking about that.
Yeah, I'll just use Mage Hand instead of the bag.
Okay, so you're carrying this mushroom with an invisible hand. After 6 seconds pass, Mary, make another Constitution saving roll.
Before that, I'm going to use another spell. Lesser Restoration. I touch a creature and can end one disease or one condition affecting it. The condition can be blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned.
Oh, good. I'm glad you won't continue to be poisoned, because you were going to continue to be poisoned.
Yeah, she likes to do that. That's why Crud got an amulet that made him immune to poisoning.
I thought I had something.
All right, shall we continue down this hallway?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Sure.
Who's in front?
I volunteer a monist.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oh, wait, I do. It was the Quaddle Herald's mantle. The magic cloak is given those deemed kind-hearted and responsible by a celestial. While wearing this mantle, you have advantage on saving throws to resist becoming poisoned or diseased.
Ah.
In addition, I am immune to any effect that would sense my emotions.
Ooh, all right. Cool.
Okay, so I'm going to lead down this hallway.
I knew there was something.
Okay. Describe what you're doing, and I'll describe what happens.
I am walking while paying very close attention to the floors, walls, and ceiling of the hallway as we go.
You gotta pick one, man.
Okay, floors, and I am prodding Amiri to continuously cast Detect Magic as we go.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So you were walking forward normally before, and now because of mushrooms, you're walking forward while carefully checking the floors, so you're checking for traps?
Yes.
Okay, so checking for traps means you're going to move very slowly, like half speed.
I'm okay with that.
Everyone else, you're like, you step, and then you wait, and then you step, and then you wait. A character actively looking for a trap can attempt a wisdom perception check against the trap's DC. So that's what checking for traps is like in 5e.
11.
Crud Jr. is going to use his boots and just walk up the wall, and he's going to walk on the ceiling. So that way, no floor traps.
Okay, Crud Jr.'s on the ceiling. Amonis rolled an 11.
Well, actually, my passive wisdom for perception is 16. Do I get to use that?
Sure.
Okay.
Hey, Ominous, would you be willing to be the subject of a spell?
Sure.
All right, True Seeing, 6th level. The spell gives a willing creature I touch the ability to see things as they actually are. For the duration, the creature has true sight, notices secret doors hidden by magic, and can also see into the ethereal plane, all out of the range at 120 feet.
Cool.
So now you can kind of see like traps, and it's a duration time of an hour. 1 hour duration.
Ah, thank you. So I now have true sight. So does this mean that I can walk down the hallway at a normal pace, casually observing the floor, walls, and ceiling as you normally would when you walk down a hallway, and be able to see anything that will pop out?
She said true seeing sees through illusions. So knowing that, you can walk at whatever pace you want to walk at. But checking for traps means you would be at reduced speed.
Okay, I'm still going to check for traps as we move forward.
Okay, and I did get your number, which was a rolled 11 and a passive 16.
Mm-hmm.
The drop and plop. The floor opens out from underneath the monist, and also the nearest person to him, which could be Amiri, because
That's Amiri.
Yeah, she's doing the magic check. Both of you fall into a pitfall trap.
I can fly.
Okay. Do you fly as a reaction?
Yes, plus I have alert.
Yeah, you're fine. Amiri hovers.
Can I do a reaction to try to grab Amonis before he falls? Since Crud Jr.'s like right above him on the ceiling.
Make a dexterity saving throw to see if you can be that dexterous. DC 25.
All right, I rolled a 16 for a dex. That's going to be a +1, so 17, so I failed.
I'm going to lucky that. Reroll.
You can only make one reaction per turn, so you can either fly or lucky him.
Can Elowen make a grab as well?
Elowin is behind Amiri and a monist, so you can either be at the same level as Amiri doing a save and grab a monist, or you can be behind Amiri and not have to do a save. Your choice.
I'll do a save.
Okay, make a dexterity saving throw.
14.
You're in the pit trap. So the floor plummets from underneath you, and a monist and Elowin are in a pit trap.
How deep is this pit trap?
Well, not very deep, because there's a perfectly fitting gelatinous cube.
Oh, God.
A monist and Elowin, please make a constitution saving throw, because you're now in jello. Woo, jello.
19.
Dirty 20.
A monist, you take 15 acid damage, and Elowin, you take 30 acid damage. Round 2. Everyone may make one action or action movement, etc. I'm not having you guys roll initiative, so you can just react in whatever order you'd like.
Crud Jr. is going to drop a rope so one of them can climb out. So whoever wants to climb out.
I'm going to leave that one for my compatriot here. I am going to... I have a rope that magically moves on its own. I am going to unfurl that and use that to hoist myself up out of the jello.
What holdfast are you attaching your rope to?
The top edge.
That's an edge. That's not a holdfast.
I can't have it because it's like an animated rope. I can't have it go up and over and hold that lip.
No, you need a holdfast.
The bottom of the pit.
Me?
And then I can climb up.
Oh, you want to make a rigid rope? And
Yes.
Okay, yes, can do. Your rope is going to take 30 acid damage, though.
I'm not sure if it has HP.
You could do it on one of the fire wall sconces with the torches.
Can I reach a wall sconce
They're every 60 feet.
with 60 feet of rope? Then yes, I can. Thank you. That is a great idea. I am going to have the rope come and wrap around a wall sconce well away from the fire, and you have it pull me out of the pit.
Good, because it has 2 hit points for the record.
Really?
Yep.
Woo!
Okay, that's Crud Jr. and a monist. Elowin, you're up.
Elowin grabs onto the rope, and I rolled athletics and got a dirty 20 to climb out using the rope.
You remove yourself from the gelatinous cube. Crud Jr., you're holding Elowin.
I walk straight until she's no longer over the pit and then lower her down onto the floor.
All right.
Elowin is now safely on the ground.
Thank you.
And then he puts his rope back in his bag.
Okay. Can we inspect this gelatinous cube?
Sure, roll an investigation check.
Okay. I rolled a 14, and I have investigation -1, so 13.
All right, it's a cube of acid.
It burns.
Yep.
Is it moving?
Nope.
Okay.
It's a perfectly fitted gelatinous cube to pit.
How far across is this pit?
Technically, the dimensions of a gelatinous cube. So I think it's 10 feet, but I would have to check the monster manual.
Okay.
I'm sure gelatinous cubes come in all different shapes and sizes, so
Yeah.
it could be, or not shapes, but sizes. It could be whatever you want.
So could I use my magical rope to form a rigid little rope bridge across this pit for everybody to cross safely?
Everybody has crossed safely.
Oh, we're on the other side. Never mind. Okay.
I mean, when you did a holdfast, I'm assuming you would go for the torch bracket that's on the continuing side of the pit, but...
That would make sense. Yep, I agree.
But since Omonis didn't call it, and he assumes he's on the other side, so he could be on the other side, and then he could try to jump it.
Well, I wasn't sure how big the pit was, as in how... I don't know.
About 10 feet. I mean, you're just on the other side of it. It's more
Okay.
about the surprise of falling into the gelatinous cube than anything else.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
Yes, it was. Shall we continue on?
Yeah, maybe very carefully. How to prevent this from happening more.
Walk on the ceiling, like me.
Have me lead.
Yeah, okay, you can lead.
Yep.
And Mary, please roll some kind of check,
All right.
and I'll use that number to see if you detect the traps or if you encounter the traps through firsthand experience.
Perception. 14 plus 8, 22.
That's a bit different than 11. Yeah. Mary, you see a button on the ceiling right before Crud Jr. can get up to it.
All right. I'll fly up and cover it so he can't push it. Hey guys, there's a button right here.
Well, push it.
It could be a trap.
Well, that's why you can push it, and we'll wait back here.
Or it could be the off button.
I push it.
How close are you guys all to one another? Probably within 100 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Within 100 feet, yeah. Easy.
Everybody make a Constitution saving throw.
16.
It's a 5 for Elowen.
27?
1.
Crud Jr. takes 50 poison gas damage. Mary and Elowen take 30, and Amonis takes 15. As poison green gas sprays from the walls of the corridor after the button is pushed.
This is why I didn't want to push it, Crud.
Also, as you continue to breathe in, you would say that the air is getting greener and more smoky as poison gas continues to spray out from the hallway sides.
I'm going to push it again as I close it.
Crud Jr. holds his breath.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too.
And Mary pushes it again, and the button goes in and out, and the gas continues to spray.
I'm going to...
Crud Jr. is going to hoof it to the edge of the cloud.
Crud Jr. runs away.
I'm going to follow.
And Mary runs away.
Elowen runs away as well.
Elowen runs away.
Amonist is going to quickly sketch a gas mask with his magical paint, put it on, and casually stroll towards his party members.
Amonis, the air is clean and pure.
Yes, it is.
Amonis catches up to his party members eventually, I assume. You guys are going to stop running eventually, right?
Yes.
You reach the edge of the cloud.
Then that's where I stop running.
Yeah.
And then start breathing again.
The cloud is still approaching behind you. You've outrun it, but it's still coming. And in front of you, there is a T intersection. There's a wall in front of you and a hallway going left and a hallway going right. And the cloud is closely behind you. What do you do?
What way do the footprints look like they're going?
You've long ago lost those muddy footprints.
And I don't think we have time to investigate. Crud Jr. is going to go left.
Yeah, I like left.
Elowen follows.
And Mary?
Uh,
The gas cloud is approaching.
I guess we'll go left.
And then, Amonist, I'm going to put you 30 feet behind everyone else because you're not running.
Okay.
Do you go left or right or hang out?
I think with only being 30 feet behind, I would have seen that my party went left, so I'm going to follow them.
Okay.
I'm going to speak to him telepathically as we decide
Okay.
to go left because he's within 30 feet and be like, hey, we're going left whenever you decide to catch up.
All right.
So I proceed.
So Crud Jr.'s in the front, followed by... Who's second?
Elowen will be second.
Okay, and then Mary. And Amonis is 30 feet behind.
Shouldn't I be first?
Apparently the squishiest person's in the front, so go team.
Crud Jr.'s on the ceiling, and Mary's on the ground, and Elowen's right behind both of you. So you're within 10 feet of one another. The moment your foot steps into the hallway, like watching a mirror, another foot does as well. This wide foot belongs to a wider leg, a barrel of a belly, but distressingly, where a face would be to show shock or surprise at running into you. A black, smoky cloud swirls. Everyone, roll initiative.
Ooh, I got a nat 1.
Yeah, I've got a couple of those so far today.
Sometimes it's like that. Some days you're all crits, and some days it's just...
19.
9.
16.
Thank God I got +8 to initiative.
And Mary, you react alertly and are unable to be surprised. I finally am remembering your stuff. So you can react first.
Can I tell if he's like a beast at all?
Beasts usually don't stand on 2 legs.
Alright, so he's not friendly towards me. I'm gonna Witch Bolt it. That's 19 plus Witch Bolt, 19 plus 11. Does 30 hit?
A 30 hits.
4, 12, 9, 21, 4, 25, 26, 28 damage.
What does your witch bolt look like?
As Mary picks up her hands, she like aims at the creature and kind of like throws out her fingers, and you just see crackling beams of electricity shoot from her fingertips and hit the creature.
Ooh, the electricity zaps its metal armor, and inside the metal armor, the swirling black cloud gets many lightnings across its smoky, swirling knot body. Like you zapped it. Next up, it's Eloin.
So that's a 21 to hit and a 24 to hit for the second attack.
Both hit.
I'm shooting with my bow, and that's 11 plus 12. That's 23. It's 23 points of damage.
A question to Mary. Is your damage type lightning or thunder?
That's lightning.
Oh, okay. Sorry to go out of turn a little bit. So let me just redo what just happened. So the electricity hitting its face illuminates into a crackling smile as your lightning damage heals it.
Oh, metal conducts electricity.
And this is a storm cloud of lightning and thunder in a swirling, smoky human figurine. So you gave it 28 temporary hit points.
Can it get temporary hit points like that?
From lightning, it can. All right. So sorry about that. Yeah. Yeah. So, Eloin, it's your turn.
Yep, so Eloin pulls out her bow, and she shoots off 2 arrows, and that's a total of, you said they were already hits, so that's a total of 23 points of damage.
Of what?
Of
Arrows?
Here, yes.
Okay. So your arrows fly through the air, and are you aiming at the smoke cloud or the armor?
The armor.
Is your arrow attack magical?
No.
Okay, so your arrows hit the armor and glance off into the stone wall of the hallway.
Guys, this could be hard.
Do you have any way to do magical damage at all?
I do have some magic spells, but my big, like, hurt things spells are, lightning.
Uh-oh. You didn't buy a bow that's magical at all? You don't have any magical arrows or anything? I would investigate that. So we'll come back to you when it's your next turn. But yeah, at level 20 to not have any ability to do magical damage would be bad. Okay, next up is Crud Jr. Crud Jr. So far, they've healed it, and they've learned that non-magical arrows don't affect it. The second, by the way, before your turn, a second pair of boots is echoing down the hallway as a second one runs to you. You can't see it yet, but it's coming.
Geez. Okay. Well, Crud Jr. is going to cast Frostbite. So it needs to make a con save.
It rolled a 18.
That fails. So it takes 20 damage, cold damage, and it now has disadvantage on its next attack roll until the end of its next turn.
It's now only at positive 8 hit points, as it feels a little chilled. Is that the end of your turn?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, so it's its turn. The Daigi is always at the center of a storm, 1 mile in diameter. So as it becomes mad at you, heavy precipitation in the form of either rain or snow starts to fall. So we're going to do snow, causing the area to be lightly obscured. Heavy rain also extinguishes open flames and imposes disadvantage on perception checks that rely on hearing. Strong winds swirl in the area covered by the storm. The winds impose disadvantage on ranged attack rolls, such as arrows, extinguish open flames, and disperse fog. So everyone, I hope you have dark vision, because it just got real dark in here as the torches are extinguished.
I do.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So it's now in black and white vision as the red torches go out. All the creatures within 120 feet of the Daigi must each make a dexterity saving throw as the storm spits lightning bolts.
That's a nat 20.
Ooh. It's a 17 plus dexterity plus 3, 20.
It's a dirty 20 for Elowen as well.
I rolled a 19 plus whatever my dex is. 1 moment. 24.
Okay, because you all pass, you only take 15 lightning damage. That's half damage. And that does not recharge. Okay, so that was the end of its turn. It did Lightning Storm to try to get all of you to be struck by lightning. And
Did it? Oh, wait, that was AoE. We had to roll. Never mind.
yeah.
Because I imposed disadvantage.
Oh, it didn't actually hit anybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And at the end of its turn, a second comrade Daigi runs up. Amonist, it's your turn. You're 30 feet away. You hear some sounds going on past the hallway, and all of a sudden there's a great windstorm and all of the lights blow out.
Okay. And now I have also learned from these previous people's turns, right?
Nope. You were around a
I
corner.
haven't learned. Okay, well, part of this is gonna... Wait, really?
Yeah, you were around a corner.
Okay. All right. So part of this is gonna heal it. So I got my 6 sword slashes. We'll start with the lowest. Does a 17 hit?
I'll just tell you its AC is 20 to
Okay.
make this easier.
That
math.
helps.
Yeah.
I know. I have a lot of hits. Okay. So that one does not hit. The rest of them do. No crits. Let me just tally this up. And some of this is actually going to heal it instead of hurting it. 16 plus 17. And then... Okay. Total, I will do 80 damage after negating the lightning damage that heals it from 6 sword slashes that actually connect.
Okay, it goes down in hit points this time. And your sword slashes whip through the stormy cloud, and the black whirling wind reforms after your sword passes through it. So you kind of like slice through its head.
Okay, yeah.
Cool. Is that the end of your turn?
Did I observe anything about how the damage was taken?
Yeah, now you know that you'd say that lightning causes a fractal pattern to appear in the storm cloud, and it smiles. Like the way the lightning like crashes across its face. It smiles.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna deactivate those lightning hits next time.
Yeah. Is that the end of your turn?
Yes, it is. Oh wait, no, I'm gonna use second wind because I'm dying. So I'm gonna regain a little hit points too.
Okay.
I'm not dying. I've lost a surprising amount of health so far.
Traps. Yep.
So yeah, I'm gonna use second wind. I'm gonna calculate it and I'll add some HP here.
Okay. At the end of your turn, there's a thing called a legendary action that happens at the end of someone else's turn. It has 3 legendary action points, so it uses 2 of them at the end of a monist's turn to cause a bolt of lightning to strike a point on the ground anywhere under its storm. Each creature within 5 feet of that point must make a dexterity saving throw, taking lightning damage either way. So it's choosing the point that you all are standing because you haven't fanned out at all. And all of you have to make a dexterity saving throw.
Now, I'm on the ceiling. Does that affect it?
Is the ceiling more than 10 feet up? No.
That's up to you to choose.
I'd say that because you ran right around that corner and you were first. So, and you haven't moved at all, you're within the 5 feet point that it's choosing.
Okay.
14.
17.
This is the dex you said?
Yeah. To dodge a lightning bolt, can you dodge a lightning bolt?
19.
26.
Elowen dodges the lightning bolt and only takes 8 damage. All the rest of you take 16 lightning damage as it points at the spot that you all are closest to and lightning bolts you all. After Amona's turn, it's Amari's turn.
All right, so I am going to Eldritch Blast it.
Okay?
That is energy, not electricity. The lowest is a dirty 20. Since I get
All right, so they all hit.
plus 11 to Eldritch Blast. All right, so that is 22, 29, 33, 41 damage.
Describe what that looks like.
Amiri she gets like this aura, like crackling energy around her that glows golden as she raises her hand and points out of her palm. A crackling beam of golden light shoots out towards the creature. 4 beams, because she does 4.
Yeah.
And
Very Scarlet Witch.
yes.
The beams strike it, and when they hit the smoke poofs away. It's pushed aside by the beam. Some of the smoke reforms into the shape of this humanoid daigi, but most of them scatter. Is that the end of your turn?
How are you looking, Elowen? Health-wise?
I'm hurting, but I'm not dead, so we're good.
All right, I'm going to use 5 charges of my healing light to heal 16, 21, 24 health
All right. To yourself?
to Elowen.
Ah, okay. Cool.
Thank you.
And that'll be my turn.
All right, after Mary, it's Elowen's turn. Elowen, you have discovered that your normal arrows do not affect this incredibly magical creature on this other plane.
I just have they aren't fiends, right?
Nope.
Okay. So she raises up her bow, and you see her kind of scrunch her eyes, and all of a sudden this, her bow lights up azure, which I believe is blue. And she's channeling, the time of day twilight. And so she does, so the first one was a 17, so that doesn't hit. But the second arrow that she shoots off is a 23. And so she does 11 plus 15 points of psychic damage.
Dang. Wow. All right. Your blue arrow seems much more effective than your previous one. As the arrow passes through the storm, so much of the storm is sprayed outward, and with little electrical sizzles, the smoke dissipates into the air.
And that'll be her turn, so.
At the end of your turn, Crud Jr., it's your turn. Now, by the way, the last 2 people have stayed in that same 5-foot spot. Crud Jr.
Yes. Are there still 2 of these guys?
One arrived at the end of, let's say, Elowen's turn, and is standing 30 feet behind the other one.
Okay. So I'm going to back the heck up behind everybody. I'm gonna back up my full movement.
Okay, as you exit its melee range, it does an attack of opportunity against you. Does a non-natural 20 hit you?
Yeah.
Okay, please take 23 thunder damage as it slams the air into you.
Ow. Stop that. And in response, you just see a wall of water come out of Crud Jr.'s face from the hood as he casts Tidal Wave. So both of those creatures need to make a Dex save.
17 and 14.
No and no. They each take 28 damage and they are knocked prone.
Okay.
So how cold is it? Does this form into ice? Because there's water everywhere now.
I will say that it's snowing, but it's not instantly going to turn stuff into ice. This isn't like in Canada where you can throw a pot of boiling water in the air and it comes down as snow. It's not like that cold.
And if the flames weren't out before, they are definitely out now.
Oh yeah, no, it's dark in here. Is that the end of your turn?
I think so, yes.
At the end of your turn, the second Daigi gets to make its legendary action, which will refresh in a moment, so it's got to use it now. Screaming Gale. The Daigi releases a blast of thunder and wind in a line that is 1 mile long and 20 feet wide.
Gee.
Just when you thought you moved far enough away. The objects in that area take 22 thunder damage. Each creature must then succeed on a dexterity saving throw. So first, everybody take 22 thunder damage.
I don't think we're going to survive this.
Starting to think I should start using action surges.
I am hurt bad.
You said 22 thunder damage?
And make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
A dirty 20.
It's a DC 21, by the way, just to let you guys know.
So I failed.
Yeah, I failed too.
I crit failed.
I crit failed as well.
Okay, all 4 of you are flung 60 feet in a direction away from the Daigi. If a thrown target collides with an immovable object, you take bludgeoning damage, but since you're being thrown down a hallway, let's just see if you collide with another creature. Everyone make a dexterity saving throw. This one's a lower difficulty check. This is just to not be head bashing each other.
Dirty 20.
That's another dirty 20.
13.
14.
A monist and Eloin smack into each other and take 3 bludgeoning damage for colliding in midair. You're now all 60 feet away from the Daigi, which is 30 feet away from the one in front. And it's the Daigi's turn. These things have a movement of 120 feet. So the first one's going to get up on you. They're made of cloud.
Okay.
And yeah, this is, All right. So, hi, welcome to level 20. So,
Must say, I am not impressed.
oh, okay. The first one's going to move up to a monist and is going to try to slam you twice.
With disadvantage, correct?
Yep, I'm rolling with disadvantage. The first roll was a 25 with disadvantage, and the second roll was a... Well, actually, wait. The first one hit you, so that's the end of your disadvantage, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just going to roll normally for the second one, which is a 30-something.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So the 2 attacks both hit you, which means you take 23 thunder damage and then 23 thunder damage. And that first Daigi is right up on you guys. How long does the disadvantage last, Crud Jr.? Until the end of its next... So it only lasted that one turn?
Yeah.
Okay. And it did an area of an effect attack. All right. The second Daigi is going to take its turn. It hasn't yet used its lightning storm, so it's going to do that. Let's see if that recharges too. Nope. Both exhausted. Okay, so its lightning storm is that all creatures within 120 feet of the Daigi, which you guys are, you're 60 feet away from it, must each make a dexterity saving throw. This is the lightning storm, so lightning is bouncing off of the walls, crackling in the air, striking. Let's see who it strikes.
That's a nat 20 for me.
That passes. It's a DC 20.
It's a 7.
22?
18.
The 7 and the 18 both take 27 lightning damage, and the Ammonist and Crud Jr. take 13 lightning damage. Ammonist, it's your turn. There's one right up on you that looks much more... the smoke is less opaque, and then there's one that looks hardly injured, 60 feet back.
Okay. I am not going to use an action surge now then, but I just took 13 damage, which I need to add in, so this is... I am at 67 hit points, which means I am below half, and I will automatically regain 5 plus my con, which is 8 hit points every turn, so I go back up to 75. All right, I have readied my sword slashes here. 2 of them missed. I now know to turn off the elemental energy for the lightning sword. It is still magical because of its of speed. I am going to land 5 of these sword slashes for 75 damage on the one in front of me.
75 damage. The one in front of you, the smoke is swirling around, trying to stay in a hurricane spiral, but you feel like it's close to dissipating. It's struggling to maintain its spiral smoky form.
Okay.
At the end of your turn, one of the Daigi is going to make a legendary action of Lightning Strike. It causes a bolt of lightning to strike a point on the ground anywhere under its storm. Each creature within 5 feet of that point must make a dexterity saving throw, taking lightning damage on a failed save or half as much on a successful one. You're all together again. So,
Are we?
everybody please make a DC 20 dexterity saving throw.
18 for Eloin.
Dirty 20.
Eloin takes 16 lightning damage. And Mary takes 8.
15.
16 lightning damage.
Yep.
Dirty 20.
8 lightning damage. All right, everyone do it a second time, as the other one's going to also do a lightning strike. Yay for 2 of them.
Oh. Whew.
12.
16 damage.
21.
8 damage.
28.
Natural 20.
8 damage. It is lightning up in here.
Elowen's down.
Oh no, Elowen's unconscious.
She's -3 down.
And Mary, it's your turn. Elowen fell unconscious.
Alright, I'm going to cure wounds, Elowen. So you gain 10, 16, 18, 23 plus... sorry, I had everything all pre-rolled and I had to change everything up.
Gosh,
Plus-
Elowen, I can't believe you died.
Plus
Sheesh.
25.
Yeah, I just kind of watched all my hit points go, and I'm like, ooh, this last one's gonna do it.
Well, when you're doing like 1,000 damage to each of us every turn, I mean...
Yep, they're called Daigi.
Alright. So you gain like 52 HP.
Oh, thank you. Elowen is back up.
So what that looked like was Mary, the hooded elfin figure, reached out her hand as she laid on the ground in the lightning storm on the stone floor and touched her fallen comrade. The hand glowed with a white light, and Mary took a breath, and her red eyes glared because she's angry now. I don't know. You said sometimes your eyes turn red. I imagine
Yes.
dying would do it, right?
Yes, it does. It for sure does.
And as a bonus action, I will use 5 more charges of my healing light to give Crud 18, 21, 24 health. 24.
Oh, that helps. Thank you. I'm not as close to dying as I once was.
I gotta go full healing. And that'll be my turn.
After Mary, it's Elowen. You're alive!
And very angry. Question, are we in dim light?
No, you're in no light.
Okay, so we're in darkness. Okay. So everybody is going to... Elowen kneels on the ground, and she kind of smacks her hands on the stone, and all of a sudden a dark blue light flashes up in a 20-foot circle around me, so it gets everybody. And everybody gets 4, 6, 10, 12, 18. Everybody gets 18 hit points back. You guys cannot be charmed, frightened, or paralyzed. You have advantage on attacks on creatures within the circle, so if they come in the circle, we have advantage, they have disadvantage. And I can't do anything else, so she's just stuck there with blue light flying up.
Can you still move?
Nope. I cannot. I am kneeled down.
Can I carry you?
Yes, I'm not like stuck, I just can't move.
Gotcha.
No, she's glued to the floor. Is that the end of your turn, Elowen?
Yes, that's what she can do.
Okay, Crud Jr., it's your turn.
Crud Jr. says, "Alright, I'm tired of this crap. Cover your ears, guys. And let's out a psychic scream. They need to make an intelligence saving throw."
I'm just imagining Amiri trying to cover up like 4 ears.
3 and 15.
Both fail. They take 86 damage.
Whoa!
And they are both stunned.
Oh, one of them's
And
dead.
okay, then its head explodes because of it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so one of them, the one that you've all been wailing on for, what started out with a healing, and then its head explodes and the storm dissipates and the armor clanks to the ground. This is full metal armor, like one of those museum pieces that shows what a suit of armor looks like, and it clatters to the ground. But you can't hear it because it's deafeningly screaming.
You just canary cried it.
Yeah, the second one is also stunned, and that continues until he's successfully able to save from it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you take them off.
Do you ever watch Arrow at all? Like the Black Canary, the canary cry?
Yeah.
That's what happens when you almost kill Crud. He gets ticked.
Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah, that is the end of my turn.
The remaining Daigi holds its stormy, black, smoky, windy hands to its helmet. You can't tell if it's screaming or not because it doesn't have a mouth, but it shakes its head. Does it save on its turn?
At the end of its turn.
Oh, dang.
And a monist, if he is still stunned at the when you have your turn, all your attack rolls have advantage.
Oh. Let's just end that fight then.
Please do.
And if they're within the glowing circle, you have double advantage because you'll have advantage from Eloin's circle.
What is double advantage?
It doesn't exist.
Not an actual thing.
Oh.
A stunned creature is incapacitated, can't move, and can speak only falteringly. The creature automatically fails strength and dexterity saving throws, and attack rolls against the creature have advantage. At the end of its stunned turn, in which it can't move, and I don't know what incapacitated means. I wish it would just define it.
Incapacitated is a creature cannot take actions or reactions.
Okay. Well then, it can't move, it can't take actions, it can't take reactions, and you guys have advantage on it. And at the end of its roll, it does another intelligence save. Oh my gosh, it got a 0.
That will be a failure.
Okay. Amonis, it's your turn.
Oh, I'm sorry. Give me one moment. I'm still rolling some extra hits here.
He was re-rolling everything with advantage.
Okay, so all of these are going to hit, and let me just go over here and get the damage. This fight's over. I'm gonna not do what I was gonna do. It was gonna be really cool. Sorry. Okay. 14 plus 6. There's a couple crits in here. Okay. And then 5 of those, one of them is a crit. Okay, so I am going to use my action surge so that I get a total of 12 hits. With my advantage, all of them hit and 3 of them are crits. I roll a grand total of 200 damage even.
Describe what it looks like as you stop this storm.
I get very angry and I'm glaring at this, and then you start to hear a little bit of background music, that angry Nirvana kind of music, as I just rise up off of the ground and throw myself at it, and sword slashing, and I dodge. It tries to react, it tries to swipe at me, and I dodge underneath and just slash off that arm and just land 12 separate hits on this thing.
Yeah, as you
Several
slash...
of them going right through its face.
As you slash at its arm, the arm separates from the body. The storm inside the arm dissipates as smoke, and the epaulette, the arm armor, falls to the ground and hits it with a clatter. As your sword swipes sideways through its head, its entire body explodes, and the smoke fills the room briefly before dissipating in the wind, which also dies down.
Crud Jr. says, "Heal from that."
Speaking of which, long rest, oh my god, long rest.
I don't think we have enough time to do a long rest, but a short rest is definitely, I think, needed.
Everybody is healed for 16 points of damage, and then Eloin gets up and stops the circle.
I mean, you could keep that circle going for a bit until we're full health. I'm just saying.
Well, does she have to use a spell slot every time?
It only lasts 10 minutes.
10 minutes is a lot of turns.
Yeah, that's like 100 turns. That's a lot shorter than a short rest.
DM, will you allow...
Your thing lasts 10 minutes, right? I wasn't super paying attention. Yep. Okay, well then, I mean,
yes.
Yeah, you just would... It's completely rules as written to keep it up. So it's not whether or not I allow it. It's just you straight up do it.
Okay. Yep. So everybody, do you want me to roll all of that, or?
What's the average per turn?
So it's 6d4.
6d4, so at least 6 and at maximum 24. So the average would be probably around 15-ish.
Okay, yeah. I'm good with averages, because that would mean you all get healed up 150.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Points
that
of
works for
damage.
me. I'm
good.
I'm at
That's
full.
health.
So are we saying 150?
Yep. Well,
that puts me at full.
cool. Everybody is full.
And if we do take a short rest, I have a pack feature that will give us temporary HP.
Well, the first round after a monist explodes the Daigi and the wind dies down, you're suddenly able to hear again. And the more the wind dies down, the more you can hear something in the distance. You're standing there healing up for, I guess, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And as the wind dies down, this eerie howl becomes more and more audible. Ooh. Ow. Ooh. You can hear it. It's echoing, but you can tell what direction it's coming from.
Behind us?
Anybody have a stake?
I recast Speak with Animals on me. Is it saying something or is it just crying? Because I should be able to understand if it's saying something.
It's just crying.
Aw,
it's
guys,
probably...
it's crying.
Is there a crying wolf?
I mean, yes, it is a crying wolf, but it's actually crying. We need to go rescue him.
Well, let's just hope that our goal is next to it, because this is, ouchie town.
I thought you were fully healed, by the way. Just checking.
Yes.
Yeah.
For now, until you hit us with the next thing.
The thing is, Fenris is also a wolf, so it could be Fenris.
That's what I'm thinking.
To the howling, I guess.
Here we go.
Yeah, I'll go in the front.
I'll be right behind you.
Howls echo through the hallway. Please tell me what skills you're going to use to follow this sound.
I guess just perception, to use my ears to follow it.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a nat 20.
Everybody else? What are you doing as you walk through this eerie, dark hallway? The ground has a small amount of snow accumulated on it that crunches under your feet as you walk. It's slippery on the stone.
Is he invisible?
Crud Jr.? Not right now.
No, the wolf that I hear crying.
No, it's just far away. It seems like Crud Jr. knows where he's going. I'm just letting you guys talk and roleplay a bit before you reach Fenwar.
I'm going to use athletics to sort of ice skate along the slippery floor. I rolled a 16 plus 11, which is 27.
Okay, so some of you are walking, but a monist is ice skating.
Yes, I am.
Crud Jr. is going to keep doing frostbite so that he can keep going further and further and further on ice.
Aw.
Thanks, Elsa.
I think we still have True Sight, because I don't think it's been an hour yet.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Elowen and Ameri are following our ice skating leads.
Eloyd flips up the hood of her cloak, and she is, sneak skating and being kind of very... I would imagine to her compatriots it looks kind of silly, but her cloak changes to match her surroundings, and it's a 29 to sneak.
Oh yeah, it's pitch dark in this hallway and you're not making a sound.
Yeah, I guess I'll just kind of... I'm going to fly along to avoid the difficult terrain.
And Ameri flies.
And the whole time I'm doing it, I'm going to use Detect Magic and my whole trap scene thing, try to be alert.
All right. The four of you progress down the hallway. You arrive at a place where the howls are quite loud. The anguished howls seem to be coming from behind a locked metal door.
Elowen calls out, "Hello?" And she has her crown activated. She's just like, "Hello? Fenrir?
You hear sobbing in Wolf.
Fenrir, bud, are you okay?"
You hear sad sobbing sounds in Wolf.
Fenrir is depressed, y'all. We probably should, open the door and check on him.
I'm gonna dimension door 2 feet ahead. Just on the other side.
Mary finds herself beyond the door. Do you want me to do the room description for just you?
I could bring one person, so Elwyn or Ominous, which one of you two want to come with me?
I probably should, because I can talk to him.
True.
I speak with Beast and everything, so it doesn't matter to me.
I'll just use my Omega chain of travel just to go right through the door.
I could do that too. Yeah.
That's what we do.
All right.
And at level 20, no one even tries to pick the lock anymore.
And I bring Elwyn.
Okay, please note that your Omega Chains of Travel have one remaining use. Elwyn and a merry dimension door through as well, and I'll describe the room for all of you. Awful stench overwhelms you. A torch on either side of the door you open, well, never mind. A torch on either side of the locked door illuminates with flickering orange light a mountain of greasy black fur in the back of the stone chamber. The matted fur rises and falls in time to the howls as the wolf breathes in and screams again. Ow! Lying on its side, his front and back legs are encircled dozens of times by thick chain and bound together. The chain lays heavily on the floor, spanning the distance from this prisoner all the way to the wall you're standing at. The wolf draws a tattered breath and howls again, the sound distorted by a pole that props the animal's mouth open wide. It can't help but drool on the floor. The drool mingles with the wolf's excrement and forms a sodden mixture that the animal lays in, bound immobile by the weighty chain.
Poor puppy.
What did I tell you guys?
This ain't right.
All right, you know what? Ominous, you have true sight, and I'm gonna pull out my I have true seeing. Let's just make sure this is Fenrir and not Loki.
Yep.
Please make an insight check. Lens of Truth user? Eye of Truth user?
Insight.
Your roll's going to be higher than mine.
You straight up have true sight. You don't have to roll.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Okay.
That is 16.
Really? You rolled a 1?
No. Oh wait, it's advantage, right?
Oh.
No, my insight's only +2, and I rolled a 14.
Don't you have the plus 10?
You're using the Eye of Truth.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, so that's 24.
You and a monist both see the same thing that you see when you're looking normally.
Okay. Would we know what Fenrir looks like?
Well, this is a mountain of fur. So it's either a new species of wolf that's never been described before.
Or it's Fenrir. I think it's Fenrir.
All right, I'm gonna run over and try to calm him down.
He's crying and covered in saliva poo. So
Trying to think of a spell I got that I could.
his mouth is propped open, and now that you're next to him, you can see that it's by a sword. And if he doesn't open his mouth super wide, the sword cuts his mouth.
All right, I'm gonna move the sword.
Aww. Wait, do some kind of check, because you're gonna reach past his sharp teeth.
Yeah, I was wondering if you should be the one removing that sword.
All right, athletics,
Animal handling?
animal handling. All right, 15 plus 2, 17.
You reach past the razor-sharp fangs that are shiny because they're covered in saliva into the wolf's mouth. Its breath is hot and it smells horrible. There's a slight pause in the howls as Fenrir can see you doing this, and he stops crying. Your hand is now in his mouth. Do some kind of athletics check now that your hand is in his mouth.
All right, athletics.
While all this is going on, Craig Jr. is going to go invisible and check the perimeter real quick.
It's with athletics being +0, that is 18.
Crud Jr.'s invisible, Amonist and Elwyn are standing by the door, and You are grabbing onto the sword at its hilt, touching the animal's tongue with your arm as you reach in, and you're straining to be able to reach. This is a massive mouth. You can see how Tyr lost his hand, sticking this in here. And you yoink, and the sword comes free. With a spray of blood, she yoinks the sword out of the wolf's mouth.
Elowen tries to talk to him. Hello, Fenwar?
Can it talk back? I don't know how your thing works. So.
Yes, I can.
He should be reasonably intelligent.
Fenrir's half god. Fenrir's reasonably intelligent. Fenrir howls. Now that his mouth is free, he screams to the ceiling, and he screams with anger, and he growls, and he's so angry. He tenses, and his muscles strain at the chains. Now that his mouth is free, he whips his head around, disregarding your presence, and starts to gnaw at the chains that bind his arms and feet, his front legs and his back legs. He's not paying any attention to you at all because he's currently laying in his own poop and chained up. And you see that the chain is snapped like a twig.
I'm going to cast Detect Magic on the chain.
The chains are extremely magical.
All right, so I can't magic him out of it.
And you see that the chains are suddenly free from the wall. And everybody turn around and look at the wall because Fenrir is pulling his legs closer to his body. He's no longer stretched out and he's nomming at the chains, and everyone look at the wall.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Craig Jr., I don't know where you are because you're invisible, but everyone else...
Let's do that perception for that, for the checking the perimeter. That's dirty 20.
As the chains fall to the floor, the mountain of fur cries and howls more and more infuriated. Craig Jr. and anyone who rolls above a 20 on their perception check sees that the chain is no longer on the wall, and pink-haired Ashley, who Craig Jr. recognizes, runs towards Fenrir. She bends her pink-haired head over the wolf's and whispers something to him. The wolf now stands up, completely free from its chains, and Ashley tugs the remainder of them off the wolf's body. She stands and sees you all there. By the way, this is a pink-haired girl. She's wearing like a toga. Her white toga becomes covered in the brown slime that comes off of Fenrir as she gives him a hug. She bends her pink-haired head over the wolf's and whispers something to him, and in the blink of an eye, they both disappear.
Craig Jr. says, Ashley was here.
Tyr's gonna kill us.
Oops.
Moxie.
Oh, Elowen grabs her chain, and she looks at everybody and she says, we could chase after them, I suppose, but...
Well, if Moxie asks, she let him go.
I did no such thing. I just got him sword out of the mouth. That was it. I was just trying to get rid of the suffering, not set him free.
I mean...
We could chase after them. I'm also wondering, do we have any way to do, like, true polymorph? Could we transform Fenrir into a form that could be more easily contained in a humane way?
I have polymorph, but not true polymorph.
How long does your polymorph last?
An hour.
I mean, there's gods, and arguably if they're going to Asgard, we could try to broker a deal of some sort, maybe?
We could.
Where they just turn him into something, and I guess if they need somewhere to contain him, I do have my cabin in the woods with many, many acres where he can just kind of hang out and chill, I guess.
True. I'm wondering if we could maybe if we can recapture him and make a case that how he was being held was inhumane, we could demonstrate polymorphing him into a kitten and saying, look, this is a harmless kitten. Maybe if you true polymorph him into this, he can live out his days, somewhere a lot happier.
The only thing is I don't think Nordic gods care.
Well, here's my thing. We have to make sure that he's actually charged with something as well. We gotta make sure he actually committed a crime.
Well, he didn't, but I don't know if you're going to win that one.
So, You agree. He didn't do anything. So why is he being held in these conditions?
Loki.
Power is a strange thing like that.
Perhaps we should just start with following them.
Okay. I only have one use left in my Omega chain.
We got these braziers.
Oh, that's true. We got those too.
We probably could have used them just to get through the door instead of using the Omega chain, now that I think about it.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to use the bracelet because I want to save that Omega chain just in case.
Yep. Elowen grabs onto hers and is like, wherever Fenrir just went.
Yep. And Monisk holds on and thinks, poopy slime, poopy slime, poopy slime, poopy slime.
Actually, you guys do know where Fenrir's going to go, and I'll let you think about how you would figure out where you're going, because you do know the location. Think hard. During your break, joining us this time were Mary.
Bye, guys.
Elowen.
We might have screwed up. Bye.
Crud Jr.
It wasn't my fault.
And a monist.
Ah, but wait, there's more. We have a review! Just so you all know, Frybag from Great Britain has said that we are a really fun podcast with a diverse bunch of people. Great for anybody who likes D&D.
Thank you, Frybag, and if you leave us a review, we'll read it on air. Bye-bye!
Bye.
Bye!
Bye.
Bye.
We hope that you're enjoying this episode of the Firebreathing Kittens podcast. Please leave us a review on iTunes.com. You can find more adventures on Amazon.com in the bookstore, Firebreathing Kittens, all one word, podcast. That's right, you can curl up with a good book based on one of our podcast episodes. The authors do a really great job of adapting them into fun novels. Can you think of someone who might enjoy this podcast? Please share it with them. We don't pay to advertise this show, so the only way we can grow is through the support of listeners like you. Thank you. Welcome back to Firebreathing Kittens, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons podcast. Joining us again are a monist,
Hello!
a Mary,
Welcome back.
Crud Jr.,
Somebody messed up.
and Elowen.
And it definitely wasn't us.
Everybody, please roll a d20.
12.
18.
12.
Nat 20?
Can the 12s roll off? The number was 9.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't-
She got a nat 20, so she chooses who does it.
Oh, that's right.
I can do it.
Yay!
She chooses herself. Yay!
I choose myself, yes. Well, we started off the day with a really cool poetry slam where some of us participated and some of us didn't. I think Crud Jr. beat everybody. It was great. And then a gentleman got up and spoke a poem that was talking about Fenrir and Asgard. And Elowen was kind of worried, but Tyr was alive. So then but he did send us like a package asking us to go check on Fenrir and make sure that he wasn't escaping. So we went in, we got transported, we popped out of existence and back into existence. We fell for a trap and hit a poison cube, gelatinous cube. And then we continued on and we pushed a button that we shouldn't have and triggered poison and more traps. And then we fought some things that almost killed us. Elowen almost died. Everybody almost died. But then we healed, so we're fine. And then we went and we found Fenrir in his cage, prison, I guess. And he had a sword in his mouth, and we took the sword out. And then, remind me of her name again. A pink-haired girl kind of popped up. And she helped free and take the chains off of Fenrir, and they disappeared. So now we are trying to figure out what to do next, because we might have accidentally started the end of Asgard.
All right. This leaves you guys in a room. Ashley, the pink-haired girl, and Fenrir both poofed away. And you're now standing there. It smells real bad in here.
We are going to sit down, for an hour and do a rest while discussing where we're going to go.
And I'm going to use prestidigitation on the room to clean it up so it doesn't smell.
You start to sit down and take a short rest. I guess I'll let you do that since I'm the DM. But it's realistic to think that there might be like jailers, you know. So after an hour, the door is locked. So you hear keys being jingled outside of the door as someone is making their once an hour check on Fenrir. The metal starts to scrape its way into the lock.
Okay, guys, we decided at the orchard. Is that where we're going?
Asgard Orchard, here we come. And Elowen grabs her bracelet and puts it on.
And we all poof out.
Bracers to there, yes.
Yep.
The guard swings the door open to find an empty room with no Fenrir. Its stormy face crackles with lightning, and it turns its helmeted head to the guard team member behind it, and they communicate non-verbally to each other and then run out of the room. Poof! You all appear soundlessly in Asgard's apple orchard. Lines of purposefully planted trees stand on a green lawn under a bright blue sky. The trees look like normal apple trees, but huge. The first branch is 2 people heights high, and the red apples hanging from it are 3 times the size of apples in your world. Crunch! You hear the unmistakable sound of someone biting an apple. Elowen, you recognize this person from your adventure in Norsing Around. There, biting down on an apple, is an attractive, muscular god with shoulder-length wavy hair and flat eyebrows.
So Elowen remembers his name. Player does not.
That's Tyr, god
Tyr.
of justice.
Okay. Elowen kind of pops up and she says, "Hey everybody, this is Tyr. Hi Tyr, how are you today?"
Tyr notices you all because you introduced yourself and sees the 4 of you and is like, "Oh, mortals!" Wait, no, he has a voice. "Mortals? Mortals in Asgard? Elowen, it's good to see you again."
And it's great to see you. You haven't happened to, I don't know, seen Ashley lately?
Who?
Pink-haired girl.
Huh?
Wears a toga.
What? Oh, Loki?
Yes, Loki. Have you seen him lately? Seen them lately?
Loki was here this morning with Sigyn at breakfast.
Cool. Guys, and she's like, looking at you guys like, should we tell him? Should we not?
Mary's gonna step forward and kind of like bow her head a little bit because she is really good friends with Moxie, who is a follower of Tyr. So kind of showing respect a little bit, but obviously it's not her god. Tyr, by the way, you're looking good. You know my friend Moxie.
Oh, Moxie. She's quite the character.
So we kind of have bad news. We got a letter here asking us to check up to make sure Fenrir was still in his prison, and Loki has set him free.
He looks at the letter in your hand, and he says, "This is signed by Tyr, but I didn't write this."
I figured. We've been kind of like chasing after Loki, so I was kind of hoping to run into him there, and Loki got the better hand and got away with Fenrir.
Fenrir? The wolf? The wolf is free? Tyr's eyes widen. He asks fearfully. His eyes fall to his stump where his right hand once was. The wolf is free?
Yes.
Hold on. Yes, but we've come to broker a deal. If we can polymorph him into something cuter, we can, because you guys had him in a really, really bad cage and he was suffering and he had a sword in his mouth, which is ridiculous, mind you. But if we can capture him and get him polymorphed into, I don't know, just shooting off the top of my head, like a kitten of some sort, we can find him a better home and a better way to be contained. First step to that, though, is finding Loki and Fenwar.
The god looks down at his hand stump and appears afraid. He looks around for a moment, deciding whether or not to flee, and then straightens himself and says, "There is no escaping fate." He reaches with his left hand and draws his sword.
As fate would have it, Loki has a run-in with me in his future, and hopefully that will go my way.
Well, I think we need to find Fenrir. We can polymorph for an hour into a kitten, bring him back to Tyr, and have him turned permanently into the kitten.
Am I the only one that wants Loki?
Well, we have to find Loki, but I don't know how that's going to happen here.
Amiri's goal is to kind of like beat Loki and kind of turn Fenrir good.
I think turning Fenrir into a kitten is a good... That's good. How bad can you be as a kitten?
Like, just Fenrir, his wolfy self, just cuddly.
Yes, the immediate danger is Fenrir ending Asgard. Secondary danger, Loki, but Loki's kind of causing the Fenrir stuff.
We still haven't established that he actually deserved to be a prisoner.
Well, I don't think that he did. However, I am not willing to be killed by Tyr for releasing him.
Grrr.
Well, 3 of the 4 of us didn't.
Grrr.
I did not.
Yeah, I didn't free him. I just wanted to get him a more humane cage.
He was still in the chains. I didn't free him from those. I just got the sword out of his mouth.
Can I roll a perception check for the growling to figure out where it's coming from?
Grrr. Grrr. Perception check?
10.
21.
27.
17?
And Mary, you see, and Tyr whips around to face a mountain of a wolf whose paws bring it step by step closer to you under the giant apple branches. Grrr. Grrr. A pink-haired girl with a giant double-bladed axe follows the wolf out from the orchard recesses. Everyone roll initiative.
19.
25.
12.
11?
And Mary, you're the first to be able to react. What do you do?
All right, Amiri's going to actually step in front of Tyr and hoping to rely on her feet. Speech of the ancient beasts. Beasts of large size or larger have a friendly disposition towards me unless I have attacked them. I have advantage on charisma checks made against beasts that are of large size or larger, and I can speak and understand eagle, elk, and owl, which that doesn't help with an elf, and can otherwise be understood by any beast of large size or larger, whether or not they speak a language. So I'm hoping that kind of nullifies Fenrir a little bit.
You're not going to stop Fenrir from attacking Tyr with your passive pro-beast abilities. Sorry.
Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm like stepping in front of Tyr and
Mary places herself in front of Tyr. Fenrir is going to run at you and multi-attack and bite you. You're standing in front of Tyr. Fenrir is going to do a 25 to hit.
that hits.
21 to hit.
That hits.
And a crit. So first you take 36 piercing damage as Fenrir bites you as you're in the way of Tyr. Then you take 28 slashing damage. And then you take 40 slashing damage as Fenrir basically rips you out of the way to confront Tyr, the person who bound them, the person who stuck their hand down his throat. And yeah, Loki stands by the side where Fenrir was and cheers a little bit. Goes, yeah, boy, go, son. And Fenrir gets you right out of the way so that next turn it can take out Tyr. After that, it's Loki's turn. Loki approaches with the axe and gets closer without quite the movement speed of Fenrir. Loki is not able to reach Tyr this turn, but yeah, Mary, you're not in the way anymore. So you're 20 feet off to the left. You have been flung by the actions of Fenrir. Crud Jr., it's now your turn. You would say that next turn, Loki's going to reach Tyr.
Okay.
All right, what do you do, Crud Jr.?
Crud Jr. is going to walk 30 feet forward, turn around, and say, "You will not hurt my girlfriend's son." And he is going to cast Abdi's Dalzim's Horrid Wilting on the party.
What is that?
You guys have to make a Constitution saving throw.
16.
Fail.
12.
Fail.
24.
That is a success. So, you guys take 37 points of damage, and Amonis takes half of that.
How do you guys react to that? You can free speak. Like, speaking doesn't take up actions.
How could you?
I'm not happy that on my one turn I didn't get anything. I used my movement and that was it.
Okay, were you going to attack Fenrir?
I was going to ready a lightning on Loki and try to talk Fenrir down.
Okay, all right, you're talking Fenrir down failed, and you lightning struck Loki. Loki's a god, so it didn't kill Loki. Are you going to react to Crud Jr. attacking you?
Crud, what the hell?
You're not going to hurt my girlfriend's son.
Don't make me tell your father about this.
Go for it.
Oh. And Monis whips out a cell phone. Dot, 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 dot. You need to get over here right now.
I'll be there after my restaurant closes. Just hold him off.
Just the idea of you role-playing the dad and the son.
But they're both my characters.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to Mary, I can tell you're really angry right now. There is no amount of talking you could have done to Fenrir. That is the only thing that auto fails. There's no nat 20 that could have made that work. Like, straight up, you can't talk Fenrir out of attacking Tyr on Ragnarok. So there was no success rate for that. It was a DC 1 million. That's why I kind of skipped it. I know you're really mad at me for skipping your turn, but, like, it failed. I moved on. And you're also not going to kill Loki, who's a god. So, okay, all right. Just to clarify, she's so mad at me right now, listeners. Okay.
Well, what do you suggest we do, Crud, then, if you're just gonna hurt us? We can't just...
Use your bracers and go.
You mean and let Tyr die?
Use your bracers and go.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
That's Elon's reaction. Just,
What's Mary's reaction? She just got flung like 20 feet to the left. Her attempt to stop Fenrir from ripping into Tyr did not work, and Loki's now closing the distance with an axe. She's probably laying on the ground a little bloody.
Yeah, she's mostly dead. That took over half of her hit HP, so...
So she lifts her bloody face from the grass-covered orchard lawn and sees Fenrir approaching Tyr, the person that she was standing in front of, and Loki walking up with an axe. What do you say? Because you can free speak. It's okay. This is a fast game, but I don't want it to be so fast that you feel like you guys have no control over it.
Actually, I have an idea for a turn that might change some things.
Well, let's just let Mary react, and then it is your turn next after her. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really have a reaction right now, so...
She's just angry. Okay. Amonis, it's your turn. You just witnessed your friend Mary almost die because she got in the way of Fenrir and Tyr.
Okay, I'm gonna call out. Okay. We need a timeout here. We need a little space, and for people to be less deadly. So I'm gonna do a couple of things here. So first off, I have this scroll or potion or something of reduction, so I can make Fenrir into a tiny little puppy. Okay.
You'd better read that.
Wait, what?
Read it out loud, the thing that you're trying to use.
Cast the reduce part of the enlarge reduce spell without concentration for 1d4 hours. Reduce enlarge D&D. Let's Google this. Okay, here's the spell.
The target's size is halved. Go ahead and read that part.
Oh. Halved in all dimension and reduced to 1/8 of its normal size.
And its weight is reduced to 1/8 of normal.
Okay. Until the spell ends, it also has disadvantage on strength and saving throws. Weapons also shrink to match new size. Targets attack with them deal 1d4 less damage. That's not that much less. Okay. Whatever. It's fine. We're going to make him a smaller puppy.
Fenrir's size goes down by 1 category. That was a good turn, Amonist.
Well,
Next up.
that was one. That was
Okay.
one. I still have a bonus action and my movement. So the other thing I'm going to do is I am going to toss down my my Darren's Instant Fortress and activate it. I'm not necessarily going to try to do damage with it this turn, because I don't want to hit anything. But I'm going to open it up and I'm going to flee inside of it. And can I drag Elowin and Amiri with me? Maybe tier 2. Just to call us. Come on, come with me. Come into the fortress.
That would be a strength contest, wouldn't it?
Only if you're resisting.
Elowin is not coming.
I don't think you'd be able to... I don't think you had enough actions to do that. That would take an action for each person.
For each? Even if I'm just grabbing them as I go?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Maybe I'll just go inside and they have to work their own way in here.
Okay, and just to let you know, that fortress has 100 hit points, because I looked it up.
True. Is Fenrir doing magical damage?
Yes. He's half god.
Goodness gracious.
All right, you're inside the fortress.
So Amonis' action is, peace, I'm out.
Yep.
Trying to create a safe place so we can talk without being attacked.
I was going to say I could use a tiny hut. It's a
Oh, what's
10-foot
that?
radius, immobile dome of force springs into existence around and above you. It remains stationary for the duration, which is 8 hours. Spell ends if I leave its area. 9 creatures of medium size or smaller can fit inside the dome with me. The spell fails if its area includes a larger creature or more than 9 creatures. Creatures and objects within the dome, when I cast the spell, can move through it freely. All other creatures and objects are barred from passing through it. Spells and other magical effects can't extend through the dome or be cast through it. So we would essentially have 8 hours
That sounds better.
of Fenrir and Loki not being able to get through. The only thing is it's a ritual and I need 11 minutes to cast it.
Ooh, I don't think you have 11 minutes. Sounds like my fortress is not going to last that long.
Well, that was Amonis' turn. At the end of his turn, it's Elowin's turn. Elowin, your friend Amiri is nearly dead. She stood between Fenrir and Tyr. Fenrir is closing in on Tyr, as is Loki, the pink-haired girl with the axe. Also, Crud Jr. has turned on the party and is demanding the release of the prisoner.
Elowin pulls out the oath bow, and she says in Elvish, "Swift defeat to my enemies." And it whispers to her, "Swift to defeat my enemies," and she responds, "Swift death to you who have wronged me." Loki is now her sworn enemy. At the same time, her bow is now glowing orange, and she hits it. So a 21 to hit.
To fire at Loki.
Yes, to fire at Loki.
Okay, that misses.
Yikes. The other one was an 8, so it also misses. As she shoots, she's yelling, "Call it off," at Loki.
Loki's going to call back, "His name is Fenrir. He's not an it." At the end of Elowin's turn, it's Tyr's turn. Tyr's going to jump / fly, Superman style, right up in the air. Fenrir, not so good at the flying. So Tyr's like way up in the clouds. You guys can kind of see a little pinprick, but it's like super far away. And Loki technically moves in 3 turns, but I'm going to have Loki do the same thing now. So the two of you can see like super Dragon Ball Z style, like colliding bubbles of force in the sky as Loki and Tyr are duking it out God style in the clouds. They're like 2 specks over there, and then they poo, like with a little 2 balls of force, and then 2 specks over there on the right side of the screen, and the poo with balls of force. So Dragon Ball Z fights going on overhead, and you guys can hear cracks of thunder as they meet. Strikes. At the end of Tyr's turn, Mary, it's your turn. Fenrir kicked the crap out of you last time. You're laying on the ground. Your friend Amonis has dived into a fortress, and Elowin just missed Loki, who dashed off into the clouds. That's what's up. Fenrir seems real intent on killing Tyr no matter what you say. You've begged, you've pleaded, you've tried all of your beast friendship, and Fenrir's like, no, I've been bound up for millennia. I'm gonna kill that guy. It's your turn.
I don't even know what to do.
Oh, the ethical dilemmas of Ragnarok.
I guess I'll just jump in the fortress too.
Mary's like, peace, and heads into the fortress.
Ooh. Do you want to overlay your magic hut over the fortress?
I mean, I don't think it's big enough to cover the fortress. It's just like a small dome. It's a hut.
I can shrink the fortress. It is expansatile and contractile.
After Mary dives into the hut and her turn is over, question mark?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Apologies for not waiting for you to say that your turn was over earlier. Now that your turn is over, Fenrir approaches the hut. Fenrir takes one look at that fortress and with rage in his eyes, barbarian style, goes after the last person on the ground who's not his mom or his mom's friend. So, Eloin's making faces.
Yeah. Eloin might die. It's fine.
I'm just going to let you know this has 676 hit points, Fenrir does.
Great.
Eloin, Fenrir is coming for you. There are 5 attacks. First, does a 25 hit you?
Anything above a 15 is going to hit me.
Oh man, it's got plus 19 to hit. I think it's going to I think it's going to hit you every time. Okay, so first take 36 piercing damage and then roll a grapple check. Escape DC is 20.
28.
28. Okay, you are not grappled, which means you cannot be swallowed, which is good news.
Yes. How much more dead am I?
Okay, after the bite attack, it makes 4 claw attacks, which each deal, I'm going to go low end and go 28, 32, 24, 20.
Eloin is dead.
No, you're not dead. You're unconscious, right?
No, she is dead. Cuz okay, so say those numbers again.
Okay.
You're at negative your hit points?
Just say those numbers again. I got to do some math, but I'm pretty sure she's dead.
28,
Okay.
32,
Okay.
24, 24.
Okay, hold on.
It's 108.
Oh no. Okay. You said that was 108 together?
Yes.
I'm at negative 49 hit points.
Didn't you start this at full hit points?
Yeah, everybody did.
Yeah, but this hits hard.
Plus you had the temp 15.
I forgot about the temp 15.
Yeah, what's your maximum number of hit points?
It's 132, but I took 37 from something and then 36 from something too.
Isn't this the first time Fenrir's going after you? So it's 36,
Yes.
28, 32, 24, 24.
108.
Yeah, I was only at 95 hit points when he hit me.
We got hit by Crud Jr. too.
Oh,
Yeah, because he got hit by Crud.
Ah, you got hit by Crud Jr.
I'm at negative 34.
Okay, so you're not dead. You're just unconscious.
Yes, I am close to dead though.
Yeah, Fenrir starts ripping Eloin to death with its claws. A savage wolf attack is happening. Eloin, what do you scream out to get your friends to help you as you go unconscious?
Make sure my tombstone's really cool, because I'm dead.
You're not dead, you're unconscious.
Well, she thinks she's gonna die.
But yeah, you guys might die this. I'm sorry. That's one way for this session to end is with death. It's very possible. If only your fighter and your cleric were like outside.
How do you feel about this, Crud Jr.? How do you feel about killing your friend, your comrade?
You'll see on my turn.
Ah, speaking of, after Fenrir's turn, it's Loki. Loki's doing air battles, and then it's Crud Jr.'s turn.
Crud Jr.'s gonna walk up to Fenrir and say, "You must not kill."
Fenrir's real angry. Do a persuasion check
Okay.
with disadvantage.
With disadvantage.
He's real mad. He wants to kill everyone and everything.
I accidentally just rolled 10 d20s. Well, with its disadvantage, I rolled the same thing twice. Persuasion, that's going to be a 7.
Fenrir considers your offer and then decides it's Ragnarok.
I tried.
So that was just a bonus action.
Yeah.
You still have your full action. Because I don't know how persuading a person could... I don't want Elwyn to die.
I don't either. That's not... That was not in the cards.
I didn't expect Fenrir to have to hit Elwyn. I thought it would go after a monist.
Yeah, that was, the monist, that was a dick move.
People are supposed to come in with me. They're just dying before they can get here. We were supposed to have a safe space to talk.
Yep. Good response to Ragnarok.
All right, I'm going to cast Suggestion on Fenrir.
All right.
So he has to make a... No, if I do that, he's going to know that I did that, and then he's going to come after me, and I'm the only one safe right now.
Yeah, you freed him, and then you didn't try to stop him from killing Tyr, which means Fenrir is not going to attack you.
Yeah. But if I do a spell on him, then that can go bye-bye.
If Elwyn dies, I, the player, am totally okay with that. I would just like to let you know, do what your characters would do. You can let her die. It's fine. I have a backup ending for her if she dies.
Well, here's the thing. Going into this, no one was supposed to die.
I love that. I love that was the plan. That's what felons say.
Yes, that was the plan. No one was supposed to die, except for, Tyr.
Because you all have figured out by now.
You wanted Tyr to die?
Fenrir does. My girlfriend does, so yeah.
Your girlfriend is Loki.
You all have figured out by now who gave you the bracelets, right? And the letter?
Yeah.
I knew that going in.
Yeah.
So did I.
I was like, yep, it's Loki.
Elwyn didn't.
It was Crud Jr.
There's really nothing I could do. Yeah, I'm a damage wizard. I'm not a, nice guy.
He says after giving you all a letter, some bracelets.
And death.
What I can do is I can bite you and bring you back that way.
What?
Oh my gosh, we're finally going to learn what happens under Crud Jr.'s hood.
You know what? I went through this entire year without having an opportunity to do this. I'm going to save your life by making you my thrall.
Or you could wait for me.
You guys ran away.
We're right here.
Elwyn has no opinions. She's out on the ground.
Can you just turn her into a vampire?
No. It is not. It doesn't work that way.
Could it for story reasons? Because it's cool?
I guess.
That's what I thought was happening.
Ominous. We might have to beat up Crud Jr.
Let me find the thing real quick.
Yeah. DM ruling, you can just turn her straight up into a vampire. Because
okay.
That's funny.
My cheeks hurt.
Are you ready for this, Ominous? Action surgeon.
I guess. You know I'm going to kill him, right?
In this case, Mary might just let it slide.
Literally, one of my turns will kill him.
We'll kill Fenrir?
No, we'll kill Crud Jr.
Oh, isn't he your stepson?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Oh, this just keeps getting better and better.
This seems very unwinnable right now, so now it makes me think our primary goal should be getting away from here.
If she hadn't gone down, my action was to cast suggestion on her and tell her to go home.
Oh, me?
No, Elwyn. You were in the fortress. You were safe.
I was going to say, you got to beat my wisdom? My wisdom's pretty high, so...
Okay, so... Alright, so I guess I crouch down next to Fenrir, and you just see his face go to her neck, and you just hear slurp, slurp, slurp,
There's plenty of blood. Elowen looks like she's dying of laughter right now.
She is dying.
I have to make an attack. So that's going to be, of course.
Did you want Elowen to be a vampire?
I'm laughing because it's just like, how could you have seen this coming? But it's wonderful at the same time.
So it's a nat 20 on an incapacitated person, so it really doesn't matter. And, so I drain you.
I'm sorry.
And you become my vampire sidekick.
Elowen, you're restored to full hit points and you gain the attribute of vampire. Starting tomorrow, you won't be able to walk out under the full light of sun. Which is fine, because you're Twilight Hunter, so...
Wait, full hit points? I think that would just bring her to 0, and she cannot just be killed by Fenrir.
Nah, full hit points and Fenrir can still rip your head off.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, the sun is no longer your friend. It's starting to hurt your eyes right now, and you're getting a bit of a headache, but until tomorrow, when you will rise with the dead, you're a semi-vampire.
Cool.
Can I cure that?
It's not a disease.
She is one.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of rude to Crud Jr. You can't be cured, Crud Jr. You are who you are.
Exactly. And now she also, Elowen, has a leaning to Crud Jr. as her creator.
She's nodding, audience.
Epic god battle. Parking lot fight of the fire-breathing kittens.
And so then I guess my last part is going to be just stepping back. My creation on the ground, and the other two just cowering in the fortress.
And that ends your turn.
Oh, actually, no, I do cast a spell.
Oh.
I cast invisibility.
Aha, and then he's invisible. Elowen, you're laying on the ground, but instead of dying, you feel great. Also, and after Crud Jr., it's Amonis' turn. Amonis, you're inside a fortress with a Mary.
Yeah. All right, and we can still free talk, right?
Yeah, you can stay in there as long as you want. There's no downside to that.
You're safe.
Well, I mean, like outside of turn space, like I can talk to a Mary and...
Yeah, but you can't talk to people outside of the fortress because there's a fortress wall in between you and them. And you also don't know what's going on out there, but you do know Elowen screamed bloody murder.
Have you seen the fortress? It has windows. It's a small metal room with windows, and you like fire arrows from inside of it.
Okay, well then you watched as Elowen died.
Yes, I did. All right, Amiri, what are we doing? What is happening here? Do we have a game plan?
I really don't. I just saw Crud turn. He turned her into a vampire. I am not okay with this. I could have easily saved her, and he went ahead with his selfish reasons. And I feel we need to stop that, and at the same time calm down Fenrir. But Fenrir is gonna immediately come after me, and I want Loki. I want his head on a platter.
Okay. What would you like me to do to help you with these goals? Because I know that the outcome of today is something that you are much more well-versed upon than I am, being a celestial warlock.
It is in our best interest to help Tyr.
What would you like me to do? Should we collapse the fortress and get back out there? I know you can fly up to that battle up there. Do you want me to try to keep things busy here? What should we do?
As bad as this is to say, I feel like our number one target right now is Crud.
You want me to attack him?
Because he's going to try to thwart everything we do to Fenrir.
Okay. So we have to find him first. He is invisible at the moment. Can we do anything to light up this place with mist or anything that will outline him?
I can give you True Sight.
Oh, okay. So when your turn comes, we'll do True Sight. Okay.
Will True Sight reveal a invisible person?
Yes.
Ah. Cool.
In the meantime, I am going to use my action to use my magic paints here.
I got the Eye of Truth.
Oh, yes, you do.
I could just give that to you and you could see him.
Can I take it from you during my turn?
Or wait, no, it's not like a...
Technically, the Eye of Truth has the ability to always find Loki, and technically it has the ability of +10 on insight checks to discover Loki. So it's not true seeing the item.
Yeah,
it's not really going to make me see him.
True sight.
So for my turn on this one, I am going to take a moment to paint a large steak, and like the meat kind, and a Fenrir-sized muzzle and leash.
You do that. You now hold a large steak and a Fenrir-sized muzzle and leash.
And I will leave them here on the floor.
For all the D&D players listening at home, they just made a muzzle for a Tarrasque. You heard it here on Firebreathing Kittens.
Yeah, we did.
They think that's going to work.
Well, I don't want to kill him.
Why not?
I want to tame him.
Because he's innocent.
So you want to imprison him. Okay.
No.
I want to separate people who are going to hurt each other.
Wow, you're failing to protect the victim here. I'm just amazed. Is that the end of your turn?
Yes.
I'm not.
Yeah. I did not think Crud Jr. was going to be the moral pillar here. I didn't think Mary was going to be evil. Lots of surprises here in the final episode. After Amonis' turn, it's Elowin's turn. Elowin, you have disadvantage on your ability to think negative thoughts against your master, Crud Jr. But you can still think them. It's just harder.
Okay.
Also, you feel fantastic.
Yeah. I've been sitting here trying to figure out what Elowin's gonna do. So she pops up. Does she know what Crud did? No, she just feels great.
You feel fantastic.
But there is an underlying love for Crud there now.
Yeah.
Cool. She's just like, I really like this Crud Jr. Cool. New feelings. Package those later. And I'm just gonna kinda poof. And she explodes into a 15-foot radius sphere of smoke. And she can't move until her next turn, but she is resistant to all damage. And it's now, I guess, foggy would be the equivalent.
I love how you were basically already a vampire.
Yeah. I was looking at the stuff that I gained from being a vampire, and I'm like, I already have half of this.
Yeah.
I was a vampire with extra steps. So, yep, she is a cloud of smoke.
Yeah. Fenrir will not attack that cloud of smoke, just to give you, because it wouldn't satisfy his rage to paw at smoke. Yeah. Is that the end of Elowin's turn?
Yes, it is.
All right, at the end of Elowin's turn, it's Tyr's turn. You guys hear thunder in the air as above you the gods are moving supersonically to one part of the sky, and then boom, as they match swords. Tyr has a sword and Loki has an axe. And then they move supersonically to another side. I mean, you saw how Tyr's guards in the jail, which, by the way, that's who you beat up earlier, was Tyr's guards. They had 120 feet of movement. Their boss, even more. And move, boom, as in the sky above you, the gods rage. After Tyr, it's Amari's turn. Amari, please abuse the victim some more.
All right, Ominous, you ready?
I'm ready.
You now have true sight.
Thank you. And do you want to pick up the muzzle, leash, and stake that I left on the floor?
Debating if that would be a good idea for me to go out there with those with Fenrir.
I'm not sure. I just want us to have options.
Yeah. Let's try to do this without it first.
Okay.
All right. So our number is Elowen going to try to jump in the way now?
Elowen is a cloud of smoke.
She was also on our side before, so I don't think she's brainwashed. She just has a hard time thinking negative things about Crud Jr.
This is true.
You don't know that.
Yeah, you don't know that.
Why don't I know that?
Because how would you know that?
Because Crud Jr. is my stepson and I know what he is and what he just did.
Did you know he was a vampire before this?
Of course! He's my family! Of course I did!
Okay, we'll go ahead and kill him then, I guess.
I'm not gonna kill him.
Oh.
Non-lethal damage.
I want to do something for Fen.
Okay. What do you got?
I'm trying to think how to distract Fenwar.
That was the point of the stake. He's a puppy.
Wait, I still got some good berries. That'll at least fill him up. We could put the good berries in the steak and feed that to him. All right, so we do that.
All right, so on your turn, are you putting good berries in a stake and then tossing it out through the window in the fortress towards Fenrir?
Yes.
Okay.
And that'll be my turn, I guess.
The stake flies through the fortress's window and lands on the ground, next to the giant puddle of Elowen's blood.
Yummy.
Fenrir eats it,
Okay.
and that'll consume Fenrir's turn. Is that what you guys wanted?
Yeah.
Sure.
Now he's full.
It's his first meal in millennia, so he appreciates the good berries.
Wait, I thought that was Elowen.
Ouch.
After Fenrir, it's Loki's turn. There's a sky-rending boom, and with the force of an asteroid striking the Earth, Tyr is smashed downward through the air, and bam, into the ground. He makes a crater that has 20-foot high walls and like a burrow, so like picture a straight line, as he smashes into the ground near you guys. He's 40 feet away from Fenrir. That ends Loki's turn. Crud Jr., it's your turn.
Yeah, I've been thinking about what I was going to do. There's not really much to do. I am invisible. I have nobody to protect. Don't have to protect Fenrir right now. So I'm going to do a held action. So I'm going to call the action out, so if it triggers, it's going to happen. When somebody steps out from the castle, I am going to cast Reverse Gravity. When that happens, it's going to reverse the gravity on whoever steps out, and they're going to fly 100 feet into the air.
Do I know that you did this?
No.
Okay.
Sorry. So that is what I'm doing.
Is that the end of your turn?
That will be the end of my turn.
A monist, it's your...
And I'm going to write down where I move. That way there's a chance he won't see me, but it's written down so, can't get out of it. Say, no, I'm not there.
Very fair. I like it. At the end of your turn, a monist. It's your turn. What's your goal here?
Okay. So I don't know what happened. Well, my goal is to incapacitate Crud Jr. We're going to have to take him home and give him a very stern talking to later.
But what's your overarching goal here?
To support Amiri. I don't want to hurt the wolf because I think he was inappropriately imprisoned. I believe Loki is evil, and if we can kill him, I think we should. I think that I do not want to kill Tyr because he's the god of justice, and I don't want to upset the natural order of the world.
So you still think Tyr is the god of justice?
I do, yes.
Okay.
So I do not know about this gravity spell, so I walk out of the fortress and...
You can make a dex saving throw.
Okay. 19.
19, meet it to beat it. So you have grabbed onto the edge of the castle and you are upside down.
Okay, what, am I just stuck hanging here, or did I actually beat the spell and can move forward?
You did not beat you made the dex saving throw so you could grab onto it and not fall 100 feet into the air. Or you can just fall 100 feet into the air. It's your choice.
I am going to activate my giant fly, let go of the fortress. I will be pushed up in the air.
Does that take an action?
What?
Your fly.
Yes.
Okay, well,
So
actions happen on your turn.
It is my turn.
It is his turn.
Okay.
My spell was a reaction to somebody coming out.
Got it. So
Yeah.
it went move, reaction, action? Okay. Got it.
Yes, and I am going to activate the giant fly and mount up so that the gravity does not affect me.
A monist is in the air.
However, that did use up my turn.
Monist is in the air and not killing his stepson. That's good.
So in my head, he's actually the fly and him are upside down,
Yeah.
flying
sure.
around.
Doesn't matter. Flies can fly all kinds of ways. Doesn't matter.
Next up. Is that the end of your turn, a monist?
Yep, that's all I got.
Vampire Elwyn, it is your turn.
So Elwyn poofs back into existence at the edge of that 15-foot sphere of smoke.
You notice Tyr. There's now a meteor since the last time you were here.
Yeah, she is over the Asgard thing, and she is going to cast Pass Without a Trace on herself, and she is just gonna go hide behind some trees and move as far away as she
She's
can,
done.
which is 35 feet. She tried to save him, and she is realizing that, you know what? He kind of screwed her around last time, and she's done trying to be nice to godly beings. They can take care of themselves. I'm gonna go hide behind a tree.
What's your stealth check number so I can see if people see you?
It's a 29.
With a 29, Fenrir can't see you. You're very hidden behind that tree.
Sweet. Yep, and she's just gonna hang out. She's done.
Today is the first day of the rest of your life.
That is true.
Rest of her new life.
After Elwyn, it's Tyr. Tyr jumps up out of the smoking ground, wipes the dirt off of him, and heads towards Fenrir. You beast, he calls. You're meant to be imprisoned. Today will not be Ragnarok, he shouts. And he's bearing down on Fenrir. He closes the distance, and Fenrir and him exchange a mighty flurry of blows. He hits Fenrir a few times with his sword, and he's hurting the puppy. Yep. Oh no. There's something else he can do. He snaps his fingers, and Thor appears.
Oh.
Oh, dear God.
Yep. Brother, he shouts out. Help me tame this savage beast. Thor raises Mjolnir, the hammer, and he brings Mjolnir down upon Fenrir. Fenrir yelps like an injured dog and is laying on the ground. And Mary, it's the very last turn before Loki's turn.
And Mary's gonna die.
What?
Just, nope, dead.
I marry Dimension Doors over Fenris or Fenrir to guard him.
What? Whoa! As Thor raises the mighty hammer Mjolnir, and Mary places herself between the hammer and Fenrir, but you've hated Loki this whole time, and you're going to save Loki's son?
I'm saving Fenrir, not Loki.
She's like, no. Dang. Well, the way D&D works is that it's mid-hammer swing, because it's not Thor's turn again. Is there anything else you want to do on your turn?
I have something that'll be done after.
If you survive.
Oh, it's when her HP drops to dead.
Oh, it's the radiant damage thing. Yeah. Well, that's not going to happen quite yet because Loki is still moving. So surprisingly, Loki comes to your aid. I know, this is amazing, right? And Mary being saved by Loki? This is, Mary's uncomfortable with this.
Like, she just sees Fenrir and she's like, he's innocent. I'm trying to save his life, you know, because it's not her end goal to trap him or anything. She wants him free.
Yeah. Okay, so because you are protecting her son, Fenrir, Loki, who is the pink-haired girl, Paul Parker, and many other faces, comes down from the sky as well. You know, was flying, but not as fast as Tyr. So catches up and grabs Tyr in a headlock and positions herself with Tyr in the headlock in front of Ameri. And Ameri, you're inches away from Loki as Loki holds the axe up to Tyr's throat in her headlock. So it's Fenrir on the ground, Ameri on top of Fenrir, and between Thor and Ameri, Loki holding Tyr by the neck.
And I might want to remind everybody that Amiri's like close to death.
There's a bit of a hostage situation with the axe that can excise Tyr. And Loki calls to Thor, "Don't kill my wolf son, and I won't kill your god of justice." She's definitely making mental air quotes around the word justice. Okay, so here's the possible outcomes from this adventure. You guys get to negotiate at this point. It is a hostage situation. The battle's over. Congratulations for surviving the Fenrir. And Mary would have super died if Thor had hit her with that hammer. And Eowyn saw what a single Tarask hit was like, so that's what would have happened if you guys fought Fenrir. Mary got to witness that too. She got pawed aside with a little baby paw. I actually should have attacked you 5 times. Anyway, so a monist, you're flying on a giant fly.
Yep.
Crow Jr., you're invisible somewhere. Your location's written down. And Mary, your hands are to your face with apprehension, but you're under Loki and Tyr. You're sandwiched.
Oh, she would have like flung herself over Fenrir, to hold him.
So you've got sneaky dog body under you. and Eowyn is feeling great over by that tree. So here's the negotiation part. There's possible outcomes. I've got this list of things here. Whatever you guys work towards is what's going to happen. You just have to make a compelling argument and some persuasion checks. And if you fail, there's a lot of outcomes written down here on this paper. And if you succeed, there's a lot of also potential outcomes. So, but yeah, go.
Okay, I have an idea. So I'm on this giant fly. I assume Rufus is somewhere in this area, although obviously not on the fly.
Rufus is in the guild.
Wait, what? He can't be with us?
You kidding?
He's always with us.
20 minutes before the final.
This is the first you mentioned him.
We don't utilize him much.
Sure. Rufus is here too. Rufus has a little doggy bangle.
Sure, he came with us. So I'm on this giant fly, and I start to rush towards Emiri to try to help her futilely, but I am mixed up by the altered gravity, and I fall off of the giant fly and collapse into a heap on the ground. And Rufus comes up with that love that only a dog and its owner can have.
Aww.
And starts licking my face, going, "Please, wake up. Don't be dead." Right? Okay. And Fenrir sees this, okay? And goes, "This is what a puppy's life is supposed to be like." Maybe. And I turn to Fenrir as I'm in the dirt on the ground and say, "Don't you want to come home with us?"
Okay, this will not stop Thor from killing Fenrir. So Thor and Tyr have an agenda.
I'm not the only player.
Okay.
Eowyn pops out from hiding. And she, very obviously, holds her bow up and puts it down so that way everybody knows she's unarmed, as far as they can see. And she takes her sword off and she's like, "Look, I'm unarmed. We're good." She unarms herself. And she walks over and she just kind of sits cross-legged on the ground. And she says, "Look, I'm pretty sure that I almost died today. Not really sure how I'm feeling this great. That's something to explore later. But the way I see it is if you guys kill Fenrir, you're going to be fighting Loki for a while. And if Fenrir kills Tyr, we're still going to be fighting. So, solution, y'all are gods, Fenrir is half god. Can't you just, take out the aggressiveness and be nice and just give him, a home on a mountain? Because there was, some, weird frost giant ghosts last time I was here. Have him chase and eat those. Problem solved. And then nobody has to die. I get to go home and never come back to here. And by the way, y'all not going to get followers from me. I am for sure going to suggest, ignoring all of you because y'all are kind of assholes. Because she's done. She's over it.
So there is one issue with them just doing nothing, and that is that Fenrir is indeed prophesized to destroy the world. So there's that.
Does somebody point that out to her? And it's but he's prophesied.
Yeah, Tyr's gonna, from the arm stranglehold and the axe right at his throat, being, I did it to save the world!
Oh, boo-hoo! Everybody's prophesied to die at some point, and prophecies are only as good as the belief you put in them. You're gods, for Pete's sake. For God's sakes, for Tyr's sake. I don't really know. For something's sakes, you're gods. Make your own fate.
What if we change his name? Fenrir is prophesied to destroy the world. What if there's no Fenrir? What if there's a Fluffy?
Darn.
Make a persuasion check.
What?
So I was just looking at something up, and unfortunately it's a paladin thing. But I was thinking, what if, Amiri kind of does, a blood oath with Fenrir to kind of bind them, so that way it kind of keeps Fenrir under control?
Tell me the mechanics of how that would work, and I'll make a DM ruling. Is it in the official Wizards of the Coast rules?
Yeah, it's a paladin. It's called a blood oath, sacred oath.
Okay. Read it. What is it?
There's a whole thing to it, but basically you exchange blood, and it kind of links them. I get their life force is kind of combined, and blood connection at 20th level. If you cause a creature to lose 1/5 of its maximum hit points during your turn, maybe that wouldn't work, but
Helloin rolled an 18.
Okay, a monist.
I got a 16.
All right, so you guys are proposing that the fire-breathing kittens are going to blood oath with Fenrir to try to control him and be like, we're going to make sure he doesn't end the world, not you.
Exactly.
And we will call him Fluffy.
And we'll do it humanely, and he'll have a happy life with all of us.
Amiri will gladly blood oath it to save herself and him at this point, because they're both on death's door right now.
Helloin doesn't care. She thinks gods are stupid, and she's ready to go home. She just wants them to stop.
And being the one to pull the knife out of his throat, she's hoping that he'd be like, okay.
That's true. You did free Fenrir, Amiri. That's true. Crud Jr., what's your contribution to this? So far we have Fluffy, Blood Oath, and Chastisement from an angry vampire, Twilight Hunter.
Crud Jr. is actually on Fenrir's back right now. He said...
Of all the places you could have picked. Amiri, you feel not alone.
He says to Ashley, kill the bastard and dimension doors him and Fenrir 500 feet into the forest.
How does the blood oath affect that? Are you able to stop Fenrir from dimension dooring? Are you really able to control Fenrir? Or if Fenrir went to go all kill stuff on stuff, how does calling Fenrir Fluffy work, Amonist? Is that...
That was just to get out of the prophecy. Because there isn't a Fenrir, there's a Fluffy.
I don't think it works that way, though, buddy.
From now on, you have to call Fenrir Fluffy, but we can continue with the story as written.
Okay, so I'm on Fluffy's back.
Yes.
And Dimension Door has to be a willing.
He's my ally, so he's willing.
He's pretty willing, yeah.
And I'm literally holding on to him.
You said you were in front of him. You didn't say you were on him.
Oh no, I said I was.
Oh, she was on
I
him.
was like holding him. I was through myself.
Then he disappears.
over.
He just disappears, and you're like, oof.
Oh, yeah, because Dimension Door doesn't take you. It only takes one person, even if you're touching, right?
Yep.
So you fall on the ground, Mary, as you start to do the blood oath. So what we have here is 1 times missing Fluffy, 1 times missing Crud Jr., 1 upset Elwyn, and 1 Amonist who we're calling Fluffy for the rest of the game. Yeah.
What are the gods doing?
Well, Loki's about to chop off Tyr's head, so if there's any way for you to prevent that, you can, but otherwise it does seem like Crud Jr. just caused that to happen. And you guys didn't really come up with a solution, so.
Elwyn speaks up. Oh, go Amiri.
Amiri's gonna, like, look down at the missing Fenrir and,
Fluffy.
turn around and be like, Thor, get Loki.
Oh, so you want Thor to fight Loki. Okay.
Well, now that her thing is gone,
Son, not a thing.
like, well, I mean, he's not my son. My son's at home. So she's like, well, I was protecting him and now he's gone. So the only person here now is Loki, who is a enemy.
Okay, we're going to do a final vote. This is the season finale. I'm not going to decide. You guys are going to decide. What do you guys want to happen to Tyr, Loki, and Fluffy? Ready? Everyone vote for Loki first. What do you want to happen to Loki? She can't die. There's nothing that can kill a god except for a specially designed weapon. So everyone please vote. All hands raised for... You have to vote verbally because it's a podcast.
I vote imprisoned.
Prison.
At home.
I vote, just left alone.
Okay, so we've got a 50-50 split. So the dice are going to decide. I'm going to use this dice. If it's above 10 or above, she goes home from this adventure safe and sound. 9 or below, she ends up imprisoned with her son forever. That's a nat 20. Okay, so the fate of Loki has been decided. Next up, the fate of Tyr.
Yeah, hold on. You said imprisoned with Fenrir. We didn't say that Fenrir was getting imprisoned.
Okay, let's decide the fate of Fluffy.
I want to be bound to him.
All right,
Yeah.
Everyone please take a vote on the fate of Fluffy.
I really want to be bound to him.
One at a time.
Fenrir comes home with, Fluffy comes home with us.
Fluffy free.
Fluffy free.
And the majority has it. Fluffy will be free after this. However, this means that Thor and Tyr, the ones who imprisoned Fluffy in the first place, are going to either come after you to kill you or need to be negotiated down in some way. You can just have Tyr killed right now if you want. So what happens to Tyr? So everybody please vote. Tyr's life is currently in your hands. He's got an axe to his throat. Just kill off Tyr.
Death.
What? I want him to live.
I want him to live.
Death.
I'm rolling a dice right now. Holy sh**. I'm going to roll this dice, you guys. This dice will determine the fate of Tyr. If it's a 10 and above, Tyr lives. If it's a 9 and below, Tyr's head comes off. Actually, if it's a 10 and below, Tyr's head comes off. That's a 16. Oh, the disappointment on their faces. Tyr lives. Okay, so we've got Loki alive and home, Fluffy alive and home, and Tyr lives. So I'll narrate now. You all talk the gods down by flinging herself across Fluffy's body, and Mary gets in the way of Mjolnir the Hammer. By suggesting that they call Fenrir Fluffy, a monist proposes an alternative to the prophecy. By teleporting Fluffy away, Crud Jr. de-escalates the situation. Where's Fluffy? Can't kill him now, can you? Haha, we're invisible. And by just shaking her finger and chastising the gods, Elwyn points out that this is not justice. And the day is saved! Woo!
Yay, we succeeded, sort
We
of.
have a new puppy.
Yeah.
Does Amiri get bound to him?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think you're going to be able to live in the mortal planes anymore because gods can't just like inhabit mortal planes. So I hope you're happy with your afterlife. You probably have the same lifespan of a god now because you're bound. You're going to have to start living in Asgard.
I'll bring my kids.
You're going to be seeing a whole lot of Crud Jr.
Oh, yeah, because he's dating Loki. So, alrighty. I'm glad you didn't have to kill your stepson, a monist.
I wasn't going to kill him. I just pointed out that if I get a hold of him, I rolled the damage. One turn is all it takes.
I Miri legit was gonna.
I wasn't going to kill him. I was going to non-lethal him and use the immovable rods on him.
Your family is whole. Albeit some of you live in Asgard. But you'll still see each other on holidays?
Wait, I live in Asgard?
No, your stepson does.
Okay.
Yeah, Crud Jr. isn't going back to Earth. He's going to Asgard with his new family.
Yeah, but will you be home for holidays?
It depends on the letters that he gets.
Aww. Amonis, would you send him good letters?
If he's on his good behavior.
He's literally in Asgard. Far, far away from you. Get some raised eyebrows. Okay. Mary, what were your husband and son's name who are going to come live in Asgard with you? Because you're bloodbound to Fluffy.
Silgi is her son. And I'm trying to remember the husband's name.
It's okay. We're just picturing him going to school with all the gods.
Thola is her husband.
Okay. All right. And Elwin, you're a vampire now.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I just kind of imagine that at some point she just kind of like, after everything calms down, she goes up to Crud and she's like, so like, it's not that I didn't like you, but like, I didn't have a crush on you. What is going on?
Well, you're one of my Harlem now, I guess. I've made you. I am the master vampire. Go make me more followers.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go to my cabin in the woods and, like, sleep for a decade. Peace.
Amonis marches over to Crud Jr., grabs him by the ear, says, "You are much too young to have a harem. How do you even know that word? Come on, we are marching out of here right now."
Crud Jr. slaps his hands away. I'm 20, dude. Back off.
Some years have passed, by the way, since you're 2 years older.
That's still much too young to have a harem.
I think he doesn't have a harem.
No, I have begun it.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, so that leaves us at the end with some judgmental eyebrows from so many people. I will say that, Elwin, your feelings of disadvantage on bad thoughts against Crud Jr. is going to wear off immediately, actually.
Cool.
That's how I feel about that. All right, so... All right. And that wraps up this adventure and your characters forever, right?
Yep.
That's the end of these characters. All right. Well, saying goodbye for the last time to Crud Jr., who does not have a harem.
Yet.
He's got some plans.
He can visit the mortal realm to create more vampires.
Okay. His future plans are known. Okay. And to Elwin, who feels like she's returning to feeling normally about Crud Jr., actually, right this minute.
Yeah. Never mind on the crush thing. I'm seriously gonna go take a nap for like a decade. Bye-bye.
Aw. Bye. And Mary, who has to move to Asgard now to be with her bloodbound Fluffy.
Yeah. With her husband and son.
And a monist who stopped Ragnarok by calling
Yay.
him Fluffy. Or did you? We'll find out. If the world ends, it's a monist's fault.
As usual.
All right.
Technically, it's Imiri's.
Yeah. I think you all played a hand. Bye.
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 Hey, all you dungeon masters out there. This is Alex and Jackson from the Imbibe the Vibe podcast.
Want a new soundtrack for your next adventure? Want to try some new cocktails?
Then check out our podcast where we match a fancy set of cocktails with some cool music. And we even teach you how to make those cocktails so you can enjoy them at home.
Become the home bartending paladin you have always dreamed of being.
Check us out wherever you get your pods, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And remember, have fun out there.
Have fun.
Hi, I'm Brendan.
And I'm Jason.
And we host a podcast called Full Screen
and Country.
And what do we do on this podcast, Jason?
We talk about the best British films of all time as voted by British people in the British year of 1999.
The BFI Top 100 to be exact.
100 movies.
So with each episode, we talk about a movie on the list, historical significance, if it holds up, etc., etc., etc.
Wherever podcasts are sold.
What if, in the early 1980s, the apocalypse happened? Fully 3/4 of the world's population just up and died one day. What would you do? The What Comes After podcast explores the world of the northeastern United States 5 years after just such an event occurred. Follow a group of survivors as they fight to rebuild the world and protect what little they have from the strange convergences of realities, magic reawakening, and even the return of the divine. What Comes After is an actual play podcast on the D20 Radio Network, using the Genesis RPG system by Edge Entertainment. Check us out at whatcomesafter.net or wherever you get your podcasts.
Go back to a time where life was simpler, where you could leave your doors unlocked. A time of block parties, bobby socks, and soda jerks. A time to gather around the radio and listen to your favorite sitcom before there was television. So come back with me in an old-time radio comedy time machine.